Chapter 1678. Chapter 1678. Trash. You're overestimating yourself. Looking at the approaching sword beam, the corner of the old man's lips rose into an arc. If the five-clawed black dragon was a real dragon, then the old man might be afraid. But the five-clawed black dragon was a black dragon silhouette. Facing the black dragon silhouette, the old man had no fear in his heart. It was so much so that the old man had already viewed the black dragon sword in Ningyu's hand as his. Break. The old man flicked his wrist and a cold light shot out. Rumble. As the cold light and the sword light collided, a terrifying shockwave spread in all directions. Black dragon silhouette. Seeing that the old man had easily blocked his first move, Ningyu immediately yelled out. Roar. In the sky, the five-clawed black dragon unleashed a dragon roar as it charged towards the old man. You want to kill me with a mere black dragon silhouette? Have you lost your mind? The old man coldly snorted as he waved his hands. In an instant, the space before him became extremely violent. The violent space had clearly made the five-clawed black dragon a little uncomfortable as it was briefly stunned. Die. The five-clawed black dragon's momentary daze had made it pay the price of blood. The short and stout old man tore through the void, and his whole body drilled into the void. In the next moment, the old man appeared before the five-clawed black dragon. Opening his mouth, a terrifying devouring power came from the old man's mouth. Whoosh! What happened next left Ningyu in shock. The five-clawed black dragon couldn't bear the devouring power. It only struggled for a second before it was devoured by the old man and refined. So powerful? Ningyu clearly did not expect the old man to be so powerful. Although the five-clawed black dragon's fighting strength wasn't at the pinnacle heavenly sovereign realm, it wasn't any weaker. Even the five-clawed black dragon was easily dealt with by the old man. Thus, one could tell how powerful the old man was. Something's wrong. Suddenly, Ningyu's pupils shrank as he stared at the short and fat old man. Ningyu sensed an even more terrifying aura from the short and stout old man. This aura is infinitely close to the half-saint realm. In other words, after the short and stout old man swallowed the five-clawed black dragon, his strength rose again, and the energy in his body was about to be completely released. Ningyu was well aware that the old man's strength would definitely rise to the level of a half-step saint once he fully released the energy within his body. A half-step saint would probably be able to kill Ningyu in one move. Could it be that I have to devour another drop of true dragon blood? Ningyu's eyes flickered as he struggled with his thoughts. A drop of true dragon blood allowed his cultivation to temporarily rise from the 5th grade Earth Sovereign Realm to the late Heavenly Sovereign Realm. If it was 2 drops of true dragon blood, Ningyu was confident that he could raise his cultivation to the pinnacle Heavenly Supreme Realm. Screw it. Turning his head to look at the other side of the battlefield, Ningyu gritted his teeth and swallowed the second drop of true dragon blood. Rumble. As soon as the true dragon blood entered his stomach, Ningyu immediately felt his insides churning, and his internal organs were tormented to the point of pain. Fortunately, the pain didn't last for long, and he quickly recovered. At the same time, Ningyu's cultivation also rose from the late Heavenly Supreme Realm to the pinnacle Heavenly Supreme Realm. Crack. However, in order to withstand the backlash from the true dragon blood, Ningyu didn't hesitate to burn his blood essence and soul force to resist it. With every passing second, Ningyu's blood essence and soul force would decrease a little. After all, with Ningyu's current strength and body, he couldn't withstand the backlash from 2 drops of true dragon blood. True dragon blood. Gulp. When Ningyu swallowed the first drop of true dragon blood, the short and fat old man didn't notice it. Now that Ningyu swallowed the second drop of true dragon blood, and his aura skyrocketed, it immediately attracted the short and fat old man's attention. When the short and fat old man discovered that Ningyu had swallowed the true dragon blood, he became uncomfortable and even stuttered when he spoke. Vex. That's right, vexed. True dragon blood was a priceless treasure. Every drop of true dragon blood was greatly beneficial to his cultivation. Such a precious true dragon's blood was actually devoured by Ningyu, this weak martial artist. It was truly unbearable for an uncle to tolerate. Not only was the short and fat old man vexed, but he also became irritable. The irritable short and fat old man didn't wait for the energy in his body to be completely released, and he quickly charged at Ningyu. Just in time. Ningyu floated in midair, and his eyes turned blood red. At this moment, a drop of dark gold blood suddenly appeared in Ningyu's heart. After the dark gold blood appeared, it instantly flowed throughout Ningyu's body, causing Ningyu's blood to become even more special. Divine War Body. In order to defeat the short and fat old man, Ningyu directly used the Divine War Body. Not only was Ningyu's blood dark gold in the Divine War Body state, even his skin and hair were dark gold. What? You actually have the Divine War Body? The short and fat old man's eyes widened, and his face was filled with disbelief. After swallowing the 2 drops of true dragon blood, Ningyu's cultivation had risen from the late stage Sky Supreme to the peak Sky Supreme. The short and fat old man wasn't afraid of ordinary peak Sky Supreme martial artists. However, if that peak Sky Supreme martial artist had the Divine War Body, then the short and fat old man would have to think twice. The Divine War Body was known as one of the most terrifying physiques in history. In the same realm, the Divine War Body was invincible. The short and fat old man regretted not completely activating the energy in his body. Only by completely activating the energy in his body would the short and fat old man become a true half-sage. Without activating the energy, he was only a peak Sky Supreme, the same cultivation as Ningyu. With the same cultivation, the short and fat old man didn't believe that he could defeat or even kill Ningyu. I have to leave. The short and fat old man wasn't a hothead. He knew the principle of running away if he couldn't win. However, before running away, the short and fat old man felt that he needed to find someone to cover his back. In the entire hall, the one who had the best relationship with the short and fat old man and was the most capable of covering his back was the 100-armed devil. After thinking for a while, the short and fat old man grabbed the void with his right hand. Suddenly, a ball of energy appeared in his hand, and he threw it at Ningyu. Swoosh! A diversion. The short and fat old man took the initiative to attack to attract Ningyu's attention. His real goal was to help the 100-armed devil. 100-armed devil, I'll help you. After attracting Ningyu's attention, the short and fat old man instantly joined the battle on the other side. Under the strong attack of the short and fat old man, the 100-armed devil suddenly felt the pressure on him lessen. Why are you only here now? The 100-armed devil and the short and fat old man stood back to back. Among them, the 100-armed devil complained, "You've already activated the energy in your body. Why can't you even deal with that trash, Ningyu?" Chapter 1679. Chapter 1679. Chapter 1679 Star Illusion. Not only can he not get rid of trash like me, but you can't get rid of me either. Casually dispersing the essence chi light ball shot out by the short and fat old man, Ningyu's figure flashed and stood side by side with Huwentian and the others. The corner of Ningyu's mouth curled up, and he said indifferently, "Now that you're surrounded, I'll give you a chance to live. Submit to me, or die." Ningyu's aura exploded the moment he said die. Rumble. The aura of a peak heavenly supreme coupled with the unique explosive power of Ningyu's war god's body shocked the 100-armed ghost demon. You. The 100-armed devil pointed his finger at Ningyu, his face filled with disbelief. The 100-armed ghost demon had never thought that Ningyu could advance to the peak heavenly supreme. If the 100-armed ghost demon remembered correctly, Ningyu was only a grade 5 Earth Supreme previously. In just a few minutes, anyone would be shocked to rise from the 5th grade Earth Sovereign Realm to the pinnacle Heavenly Sovereign Realm. What? I'll give you one last chance. Ningyu rolled his eyes and said, "Submit to me or die." Although Ningyu seemed to be persuading the short and plump old man and the 100-armed ghost demon, it wasn't the case. Ningyu was secretly instructing Huwentian and the rest. Huwentian was the strongest and his task was to watch over the 100-armed ghost demon and the short and plump old man. He would attack whoever tried to escape. Ninglu and the primordial spirit battle body's tasks weren't that complicated. They would attack whoever didn't escape. As for the Dark Emperor, Hairy Ball, and Zhao Lin, their tasks were even simpler. Watch over Di Feng and Gao Zhengde. Both Di Feng and Gao Zhengde were peak heavenly supreme at their peak. The Dark Emperor's task was to watch over Di Feng and Gao Zhengde to prevent them from playing any tricks. 100-armed demon, the reason why Ningyu could rise to the pinnacle heavenly sovereign realm from the 5th grade earth sovereign realm is due to the true dragon bloodline. The short and fat old man glared at Ningyu viciously and said coldly, "The true dragon's blood can raise Ningyu's cultivation from the 5th grade earth sovereign realm." "Wait, what did you say? True dragon blood?" Just as the 100-armed devil was about to refute the short and stout old man, he seemed to realize something. True dragon blood. If Ningyu had the true dragon's bloodline, then he might be able to raise his cultivation to the pinnacle heavenly sovereign realm. After all, the energy contained within the true dragon's blood was extremely terrifying. Ningyu should still have a few drops of true dragon blood on him. In order to drag the 100-armed ghost demon down with him, the pudgy old man said viciously, "I'll stop Huwentian and the others later. You're in charge of snatching the true dragon's blood from Ningyu. Once we get the true dragon's blood, we'll split it 50-50. All right." The 100-armed ghost demon immediately agreed. Moreover, the 100-armed ghost demon's figure flashed and he immediately charged at Ningyu. If it was in the past, the 100-armed ghost demon would never have been deceived by the short and fat old man. But now, the trump card brought by the 100-armed ghost demon could not be used. If he wanted to use his trump card, he had to find a huge amount of energy. Obviously, the true dragon's blood met the requirements. Due to various factors, the 100-armed ghost demon decided to take the risk and attack Ningyu. Now's the time. Seeing the 100-armed ghost demon's foolish move, the short and fat old man's eyes burst with excitement. In the next instant, the short and fat old man directly tore through the void and dashed toward the entrance of the hall at a terrifying speed. Run. There was only one word in the short and fat old man's mind: run away. He had to run as fast as he could. He would definitely die if he fought with a pinnacle heavenly sovereign realm war god physique. The 100-armed ghost demon's mind was muddled by the true dragon's blood, causing him to not notice the fact that Ningyu had the war god physique. Once the 100-armed ghost demon reacted, he would lose the best opportunity to escape. Swish. The short and fat old man's plan was successful. But at the last moment, there was a mistake. Huwentian's figure flashed and appeared in front of the short and fat old man, blocking his path of retreat. "Why are you blocking my way instead of saving Ningyu?" The short and fat old man's heart skipped a beat, but he maintained his composure and said, "I believe you have seen the 100-armed ghost demon's strength. With Ningyu's strength, he is definitely not his opponent. Shorty, King tricked me." However, as soon as the short and fat old man said the word opponent, he heard the 100-armed ghost demon's roar. The 100-armed ghost demon's lungs were about to explode. As soon as he fought with Ningyu, he realized that something was wrong. Ningyu was not an ordinary peak sky supreme. He had the war god physique. I must have been blind. I was blinded by the true dragon's blood. The 100-armed ghost demon was filled with regret. If he hadn't been focused on the true dragon's blood, he would have noticed that Ningyu had the war god physique. To fight with a war god of the same level. No, to be exact, with a war god physique that was one level higher than him, the 100-armed ghost demon didn't believe that she could win. "I didn't trick you. Ningyu does have the true dragon's blood." The short and fat old man wanted the 100-armed ghost demon to block Ningyu for him, so he shouted, "Don't be fooled by Ningyu's peak sky supreme cultivation. According to my estimation, he can only last 3 minutes at most. As long as you can block him for a minute, the true dragon's blood will be yours." Damn it. Hearing the short and fat old man's bait, the 100-armed ghost demon gritted his teeth and said coldly, "Fight. 100-armed demon." As the 100-armed ghost demon roared, he waved his hands continuously. In an instant, hundreds of illusory palms appeared and attacked Ningyu. Swish. The attack of hundreds of illusory palms was extremely terrifying. Swish. Moreover, the 100-armed ghost demon himself also attacked together with the hundreds of illusory palms, wanting to give Ningyu a fatal blow. However, the 100-armed ghost demon's body also became illusory. The 100-armed ghost demon was betting that Ningyu wouldn't be able to find his real body. In the demon spirit realm, Many people knew that the 100-armed ghost demon was famous because of the 100-armed demon. However, they didn't know that the 100-armed demon was only one of the 100-armed ghost demon's moves. Star illusion art. By chance, the 100-armed ghost demon obtained a horrifying martial technique, the star illusion art. The 100-armed ghost demon was only the first move of the star illusion art. As for the second move of the star illusion art, it was called the 100-armed ghost demon. The meaning of the 100-armed ghost demon was simple. It meant that the 100-armed ghost demon would transform into countless illusory bodies, and his real body would be hidden in one of them. Naturally, the 100-armed ghost demon had yet to successfully cultivate the second move. He had only cultivated the third form of the 100-armed ghost demon. In other words, the 100-armed ghost demon could only transform into 3 illusory bodies. The strength of each body was at the pinnacle of the heavenly supreme realm. This 100-armed ghost demon was the 100-armed ghost demon's second last trump card. Under my star illusion art, you will die for sure. Chapter 1680. Collapse. Seeing hundreds of illusory palms coming at him, Ningyu wasn't afraid. Instead, he revealed an excited expression. Ningyu was well aware of this. Although he could kill the 100-armed ghost demon in a head-on confrontation, he would have to pay a price. Now, the 100-armed ghost demon was trying to use the star illusion technique to kill him. And this gave Ningyu a great opportunity. True dragon blood, see through all things. Ningyu immediately mobilized the true dragon blood in his body, using it to detect which body was the 100-armed ghost demon's. Perhaps everyone knew that the true dragon blood could increase a cultivator's cultivation and improve their physique. However, very few people knew that the true dragon's blood could see through all illusions. The reason why Ningyu knew this was because he was a pinnacle 9th grade alchemist in his previous life, only a step away from 10th grade alchemy emperor. Heaven cleaving. The moment the true dragon blood appeared, Ningyu instantly discovered the 100-armed ghost demon's true body. Waving the black dragon sword in his hand, Ningyu slashed out a sword light. Using the black dragon sword to execute the heaven slashing technique would at least double its power. Adding on to the fact that Ningyu's cultivation was at pinnacle sky supreme, if this move hit the 100-armed ghost demon, she would be crippled even if she didn't die. Kai. The power of the sword light was immense. Everywhere it passed, countless illusory palms were sliced in half. Could it be that he found out which one is my true body? The 100-armed ghost demon's eyes narrowed, feeling that something was amiss. Because the direction of the sword light was where her true body was. From the sword light, the 100-armed ghost demon felt a terrifying aura fluctuation. The fluctuation was terrifying, so terrifying that the 100-armed ghost demon had the thought of retreating. Golden cicada shedding. At this critical moment, the 100-armed ghost demon decisively retreated. The 100-armed devil's retreat could be said to be the best choice she had made today. Crack. Just as she retreated, the sword light shattered her 2 illusory bodies. Hiss. Seeing the illusory body shatter, the 100-armed devil could not help but suck in a breath of cold air. If she hadn't run fast enough, she would have been the one to be smashed. He does have some skill. It seems I have no choice but to use my trump card. The 100-armed devil's eyes flickered. He gritted his teeth and took out a golden pill from his bosom. With a flick of his wrist, the golden pill flew into the 100-armed devil's mouth. Rumble. As soon as the pill entered his stomach, the 100-armed devil's cultivation soared at a terrifying speed. In just a few seconds, the 100-armed devil's cultivation had risen from the late phase heavenly sovereign realm to the pinnacle heavenly sovereign realm, just like Ningyu. You're still not dead this time. Feeling the terrifying power in his body, the 100-armed devil didn't retreat. Instead, he charged at Ningyu. In the eyes of the 100-armed devil, she must kill Ningyu no matter what and obtain the blood of the true dragon. This was because the golden elixir she had swallowed possessed a terrifying backlash. Once the effect of the elixir wore off, the 100-armed devil would be doomed eternally. By then, not only would she have to guard against unknown dangers, but she would also have to guard against the short and fat old man. The short and fat old man had already sold her out. However, as long as she could get the blood of the true dragon, everything would be very simple. With the blood of the true dragon, the 100-armed devil could use his last trump card. After all, the last trump card of the 100-armed devil was very difficult to use. He needed a huge amount of energy to activate it. The blood of the true dragon couldn't be any better. Kill. Ningyu's eyes turned cold. He held the black dragon sword and dashed out. The 100-armed devil was worried, and so was Ningyu. The backlash of the 2 drops of blood of the true dragon was too terrifying. It was so terrifying that Ningyu could barely hold on. Once the effect of the blood of the true dragon wore off, Ningyu would be a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. In Ningyu's mind, he had to subdue or kill the 100-armed devil while the effect of the blood of the true dragon was still in effect. Rumble. As Ningyu and the 100-armed devil were risking their lives, the power of the 2 Peak Heaven Supreme experts was imaginable. Various shockwaves spread out in all directions. At this moment, there was a loud rumble in the hall and it looked like it was going to collapse. Dark Emperor, hurry up and bring Di Feng and the rest away. The shaking of the hall made Ningyu's face turn ugly as he shouted to the Dark Emperor and the rest. This was the deepest part of the Saint Grade Yuan crystal vein. If the hall were to collapse, it might cause a chain reaction. At that time, if the Dark Emperor and Zhao Lin wanted to escape, it would be even harder than ascending to the heavens. Understood. The Dark Emperor wasn't an unreasonable dog. He immediately carried the 2 experts and dashed out of the hall. Zhao Lin, the leader of the Stone Beetles, Hairy Ball, and the rest of them didn't stay idle either. Each of them brought a few experts and followed behind the Dark Emperor. You guys leave too. Seeing the Dark Emperor and Zhao Lin leave, Hu Wentian shouted from afar. 5 nine-tailed demon foxes. When they entered the Saint Grade Yuan crystal vein, there were a total of 10 nine-tailed demon foxes. Now that there were 5 left, Hu Wentian naturally wanted to let them live. Rustle. The 5 nine-tailed demon foxes weren't stubborn foxes. They immediately moved and left with Zhao Lin and the rest. In the end, Ning Lu and the primordial spirit battle physique also left the battlefield and disappeared. They're courting death. Hu Wentian and Ning Yu's actions allowed the 100-armed devil and the old man to grasp a flaw. In a fight between experts, even the slightest mistake could be the key to deciding the outcome of the battle. At this moment, the 100-armed devil and the old man had turned hostility into friendship as they launched an attack against Ning Yu and Hu Wentian. Go. Since the old man and the 100-armed devil had joined hands, Ning Yu and Hu Wentian also chose to join hands. The battle had instantly escalated. The destructive power of a battle between 4 pinnacle heavenly sovereigns could be imagined. Crack, crack, crack. The battle didn't last long before it reached its peak. But just when Ning Yu and the rest were about to fight to the death, the pillars around the hall suddenly shattered. The destruction of the pillars meant that the hall had completely collapsed. Retreat. Ning Yu wasn't a fool. The collapse of the hall meant that the entire Saint Grade crystal vein would be in trouble. If he fought with the 100-armed devil at this moment, even if he could win, he would still die in the end. Therefore, Ning Yu didn't think too much about it. He immediately executed a secret art and raised his speed to the limit. In the blink of an eye, he tore through space and disappeared. Rustle. Following closely behind Ning Yu was Hu Wentian. Rustle. Rustle. The last 2 cultivators to leave were naturally the 100-armed devil and the old man. The 2 of them had formed an alliance to deal with Ning Yu and Hu Wentian. Now that Ning Yu and Hu Wentian had left, they naturally wouldn't join hands anymore. As the saying goes, when disaster strikes, everyone flies away. The old man and the 100-armed devil each had their own plans. The old man wanted to leave this place and join up with the demonic spirit realm's army. Chapter 1681. Chapter 1681. Chapter 1681 Master. Rumble. The collapse of the hall caused a chain reaction. The holy grade primordial crystal mine that was on the verge of collapse collapsed entirely. This kind of collapse came from the inside out. It was extremely comprehensive. Let's go. We'll be finished if we're late. Let's leave now. Let's leave quickly. Send these holy grade primordial crystals to Emperor Palace. We can exchange them for cultivation resources. In the primordial crystal mine, some experts from Emperor Divine Palace who did not manage to leave in time were anxious like ants on a hot pan. On one hand, they wanted to get more holy-grade primordial crystals. On the other hand, they wanted to leave the primordial crystal mine as soon as possible. Because of this, many warriors died on the spot. Humans die for wealth, while birds die for food. Although many warriors died, the remaining warriors didn't give up on the holy-grade primordial crystals. On the contrary, some of them stopped to loot their companions' holy-grade primordial crystals. The outcome was predictable. The few stupid warriors who stayed were killed by their stupidity. Russell. The collapse of the holy-grade primordial crystal mine caused the stone beetles in the mine to leave. Wherever the stone beetles passed, they devoured all the holy-grade primordial crystals like a swarm of locusts. There were even some Emperor Palace warriors who died under the stone beetle army. Swoosh. After more than 10 minutes of running, a few figures finally arrived at the exit of the holy-grade primordial crystal mine. Looking carefully, these figures were none other than the Dark Emperor, Zhao Lin, and the others. Leave with Di Feng and the rest. I'm going to save Ning Yu. Ning Lu looked solemn as he stared at the entrance of the holy-grade primordial crystal mine. The reason why Ning Lu chose to leave first was that Ning Yu had instructed him to be in charge of protecting the Dark Emperor and Furball. Now that Dark Emperor and Hairy Ball had left the holy-grade primordial crystal mine, Ning Lu naturally had to return to fight alongside Ning Yu. Are you crazy? Although Dark Emperor looked restless usually, he pulled Ning Lu back. The entire holy-grade primordial crystal mine is collapsing. You're courting death if you go in now. Russell. Just as the Dark Emperor finished speaking, a strange voice came from the cave in front of him. D*MN, it's the stone beetle army. As a purple-gold sky-swallowing hound, Dark Emperor was very sensitive to the aura of demonic beasts. Dark Emperor must be very worried with so many stone beetles coming. But Dark Emperor's worry only lasted for a moment. When the Dark Emperor saw the leader of the rock beetles, the worry in his heart instantly disappeared. Rank system of stone beetles. As long as the leader of the stone beetles were here, the stone beetles would not dare. Swoosh. What happened next was just as the Dark Emperor expected. The army of stone beetles rushed out of the Yuan crystal mine. Not only did they not attack them, but they also surrounded them, forming a wall of stone beetles. With so many stone beetles protecting them, the safety of the Dark Emperor and the others was at least greatly guaranteed. Dark Emperor, don't worry. With the primordial soul battle body by my side, my life won't be in danger. Ning Lu smiled at the Dark Emperor before grabbing the primordial spirit battle physique and charging towards the saint-grade primordial crystal mine again. Although the true dragon's blood could temporarily increase Ning Yu's cultivation, the backlash was terrifying. If Ning Lu wasn't wrong, Ning Yu's life was rapidly fading and he wouldn't be able to hold on much longer. Ning Lu had to enter the spatial ring and provide life to Ning Yu before Ning Yu couldn't hold on any longer. Ning Lu had to enter the spatial ring and provide life to Ning Yu before Ning Yu couldn't hold on any longer. Only Ning Yu's powerful life force could resist the backlash of the true dragon's blood. The World Tree was the #1 divine tree in the world. As long as Ning Lu was willing to help Ning Yu could maintain his cultivation at the pinnacle of the Heaven Supreme realm for a long time. Wait. However, Ning Lu and the Emperor's faces changed before they even entered the holy-grade primordial crystal mine. A faint voice suddenly resounded in their ears. Although the voice sounded normal, Ning Lu could hear a deeply hidden murderous intent from the voice. This killing intent was extremely well concealed. If not for Ning Lu's special sensitivity towards killing intent, he definitely wouldn't have discovered it. I wonder why Senior stopped me. Ning Lu stopped in his tracks and asked in a deep voice. Ning Lu's actions caused the Dark Emperor, Zhao Lin, and the others to look in the direction of the voice. Buzz. The void trembled. Then, a cultivator dressed in embroidered robes slowly appeared in everyone's line of sight. Gasp. This caused the Dark Emperor and the others to suck in a breath of cold air. The cultivator in embroidered robes did not conceal his aura. Instead, he completely released his half-sage aura. Suppressed by the half-sage aura, the Dark Emperor, Zhao Lin, and the others, including Ninglu, felt unprecedented pressure. Ninglu was the world tree. Logically speaking, the half-sage aura should be able to suppress him. However, there was no way to make him feel as embarrassed as he was now. Something's not right. The more Ninglu thought about it, the more he felt that something was amiss. Suddenly, Ninglu's pupils constricted and he couldn't help but take a few steps back. From the aura of the cultivator in embroidered robes, Ninglu could sense a unique aura. This unique aura had far surpassed the half-sage level. That's right. This aura was the aura of a sage. Ninglu was confused as to why the cultivator in embroidered robes could unleash the aura of a sage when he was only a half-sage. One must know that not even 1 in 1,000 half-sages could reach the sage realm. A cultivator that could cultivate the aura of a sage when he was only a half-sage had a high chance of reaching the sage realm. His age. What shocked Ninglu was yet to come. If the cultivator in embroidered robes was only a half-sage and had cultivated the aura of a sage, Ninglu wouldn't be so shocked. However, the age of the embroidered clothed cultivator truly shocked Ninglu speechless. 30 years old. A half-sage at the age of 30. No one would believe it. Ningyu was already monstrous enough to reach the 5th grade Earth Sovereign Realm at the age of 20. However, it would be harder for Ningyu to reach the half-sage before the age of 30. Yet, the cultivator in embroidered robes before him had reached the half-sage at the age of 30. How could Ninglu not be shocked? Senior. Hearing Ninglu address him as senior, the cultivator in embroidered robes raised the corner of his mouth and said with a faint smile, "This is the Moling Mountain Range, and the Moling Mountain Range is my territory. Why do you think I stopped you?" Due to Ninglu's shocking concealment methods, the cultivator in embroidered robes did not discover that he was a world tree. If the cultivator in embroidered robes discovered Ninglu's true identity, he would probably attack him on the spot. "Your territory?" Ninglu was slightly stunned. He then probed, "Are you from the Moling Mountain Range? Why? Don't I look like one?" Chapter 1682. A confrontation. 100 years. When Ninglu heard the words of the cultivator in embroidered robes, his mouth gaped open. His eyes widened in stupefaction. The cultivator was a half-sage expert. Even if he stayed for 10 years, or even a year, Ninglu's identity would be exposed, let alone 100 years. The world tree's allure to half-sages went without saying. Once Ninglu's identity was exposed, the consequences would be unthinkable. That's right, 100 years. The cultivator nodded, then glanced at Zhao Lin and the others. "In order to prevent you from escaping, I've decided to leave something on your bodies. Wait." Before the cultivator finished speaking, Ninglu seemed to have thought of something. He hurriedly walked into the crowd and dragged out the 3-peak Sky Supreme demonic beasts. In Ninglu's view, since the cultivator was the master of the Moling Mountain Range, they had a chance. Pa pa pa. With 3 consecutive palm strikes, Ninglu undid the seals on the 3-peak Sky Supreme demonic beasts. Master. After the seals on their bodies were undone, the 3-peak Sky Supreme demonic beasts immediately knelt on the ground and said to the cultivator, "We were incompetent. Please punish us, Master." Crack crack. The cultivator's face darkened at the sudden turn of events. At this moment, the cultivator's face was extremely gloomy. Just what kind of monster was this 5-year-old child? Why couldn't he see through his seal? He was a half-sage expert, while the child before him was only a mid-stage Sky Supreme. Jinyi was shocked in his heart, but on the surface, he coldly said, "You guys still have the face to call me master?" 3 pinnacle Heavenly Supreme Realm demonic beasts were actually captured by a few weak cultivators. How embarrassing. In order to cover up the fact that he hadn't discovered the 3 demonic beasts, the cultivator chose to lie. The 3-peak Sky Supreme demonic beasts looked at each other and saw shock and confusion in each other's eyes. Normally, the cultivator wouldn't treat them like this. The 3 of them were the backbone of the Moling Mountain Range. Basically, they were in charge of all matters in the Moling Mountain Range. The cultivator had the attitude of a hands-off manager. Now that the embroidered clothed martial artists were treating them like this, they were unable to adapt to it for a moment and stood there in a daze. What are you talking about? Haven't you embarrassed yourself enough? Get your ass over here. The warrior in embroidered robes had a cold look in his eyes as he berated, from today onwards, face the wall and reflect on your misdeeds. Without my permission, no one is allowed to leave the Moling mountain range. It could be seen that the warrior in embroidered robes was truly enraged. The three monstrous beasts did not dare to be negligent. They hurriedly moved their feet, wanting to go over to the embroidered clothed martial artist. Swish, swish, swish. However, just as the three monster beasts moved a few steps, the Dark Emperor, Furball, and the Stone Beetle leader quickly rushed out, blocking the three monster beasts' path of retreat. You're forcing me to take action. The embroidered clothed martial artist's already gloomy face became even colder. No matter what, he was a half-saint realm expert. These small fries before him were courting death by openly going against him. You seem to be very worried about their lives. Ning Lu placed his hands behind his back. The corners of his mouth curled up as he said in a clear voice, "Why don't we make a deal? You let us go, and I'll let the three monster beasts go." The reason why Ning Lu dared to say so naturally had his reasons. Through the performance of the embroidered clothed martial artist earlier and his degree of anger, Ning Lu discovered two important pieces of information. Firstly, the embroidered clothed martial artist cared a lot about the three monster beasts' lives. Secondly, the embroidered clothed martial artist was injured and could not fully unleash the strength of a half-saint. These two discoveries made Ning Lu's heart calm down. Since the embroidered clothed martial artist could not fully unleash the combat strength of a half-saint, he was not so afraid. Primordial spirit battle body, Stone Beetle army, plus him, they might be able to contend with the embroidered clothed martial artist a little. Furthermore, Ning Lu made up his mind that the embroidered clothed martial artist would not make a move against him. Because the lives of the three monster beasts were in his hand. As long as he gave the order, the Dark Emperor and Furball would immediately make a move and make the three monster beasts die without a burial ground. What does it have to do with you whether I'm worried about their lives or not? The embroidered clothed martial artist's expression became colder and colder. In the end, he once again unleashed his half-saint aura, suppressing the Dark Emperor and the others. In fact, Ning Lu was very smart. His guess was completely correct. The embroidered clothed martial artist was indeed injured and had not fully recovered. However, the embroidered clothed martial artist was not a wax figure with a silver spear. Although he was injured, he could still use the half-saint aura. Ning Lu could block the half-saint aura, but it did not mean that the Dark Emperor and the others could. The embroidered clothed martial artist's idea was very simple. First, use his aura to subdue the Dark Emperor and the others, then slowly deal with Ning Lu. Stone Beetle leader, how could Ning Lu not know what the embroidered clothed martial artist was thinking? He shouted and immediately ordered the Stone Beetle leader, "Let the Stone Beetle army come forward. No matter what, we must block his aura." Whoosh. The Stone Beetle leader knew that the current situation was very dangerous. He immediately used the Stone Beetle's unique secret technique to order the many Stone Beetles. Under the Stone Beetle leader's order, the Stone Beetle army moved in an orderly manner. They surrounded the Dark Emperor and the others in 3 layers, and each Stone Beetle spat out a green liquid from its mouth. Kai kai kai. Under the half-saint aura, the green liquid only flew a few meters before falling to the ground. Crack, crack, crack. The green liquid falling to the ground was secondary. The most important thing was that the Stone Beetle army outside could not withstand the half-saint aura and died tragically. In just an instant, the entire area had lost hundreds and thousands of Stone Beetles. We can't go on like this. Although he was protected in the middle, Ning Lu still knew the tragic death of the Stone Beetles outside like the back of his hand. Although there were many Stone Beetles, at this rate, the Stone Beetle army would be completely annihilated in a few minutes at most. Yuanshan battle body, pull out a demonic beast for me. Ning Lu gritted his teeth and immediately ordered the Yuanshan battle body. Pa. The Yuanshan battle body received the order and grabbed the shortest demonic beast, bringing it to Ning Lu. Go. Ning Lu stomped on the ground and leaped out of the Stone Beetle army's encirclement. If you dare release the half-saint aura again, don't blame me for not being polite. Ning Lu let the Yuanshan battle body grab the shortest demonic beast's neck and said to the embroidered clothed martial artist coldly, "From now on, as long as one stone beetle dies, I will kill him." Cough, cough. Chapter 1683. Chapter 1683. How dare you? The martial artist's eyes were bloodshot and even his hair stood on end. He said viciously, "If you dare to kill him, I will definitely turn you into ashes. Do it." Ning Lu would not waste his breath on the martial artist. When he saw that the martial artist had yet to retract his half-sage aura, he immediately ordered the Essence Soul battle body to attack. Crack! The Essence Soul battle body exerted a little force and broke the neck of the shorter demonic beast. Swoosh! With his neck broken, the shorter martial artist died on the spot. However, after his death, the essence spirit of the shorter martial artist quickly left his body and wanted to escape. Stop him. Seeing that the essence spirit of the shorter demonic beast wanted to escape, Ning Lu immediately shouted. Actually, even without Ning Lu's instructions, the essence soul battle body had already attacked. The shorter demonic beast was also in a miserable state. If it weren't for the two freaks, Ning Lu and the primordial spirit battle body, his primordial spirit would definitely have escaped. Now, the primordial spirit battle body was quick to react. It grabbed his primordial spirit and swallowed it. Burp! After swallowing the essence spirit of the shorter demonic beast, the essence soul battle body even burped to express its satisfaction. You, in the distance, the martial artist was instantly dumbfounded. He did not expect Ning Lu to be so decisive and kill him just like that. It was nothing to kill the shorter demonic beast, but after killing it, the essence soul battle body even devoured the essence spirit of the shorter demonic beast. What? If you don't retract your aura, I will continue to kill. Ning Lu shrugged and pointed to another demonic beast in the encirclement of the stone beetle army with his right hand. Essence soul battle body, go and pull him out. Wait. Taking a deep breath, the martial artist said in a deep voice, I'm willing to retract my aura. Swoosh. The warrior in embroidered robes was a man of his word. He had just said he would retract his aura, but he did so right after. Swoosh. Feeling the pressure around them disappear, the Dark Emperor and the others revealed expressions of relief. Tell me, what do I have to do for you to let them go? After retracting his aura, the martial artist tried to calm himself down and said, as long as it's not an overly exaggerated request, I can satisfy you. What are you trying to do? Ning Lu already felt that there was something wrong with the three demonic beasts. Now, it seemed that there was indeed a huge problem. Let me think about it first. After saying that, Ning Lu used his perception and carefully entered the body of the Yuan spirit battle body. Ning Lu kept an eye on him. The primordial spirit battle physique had indeed swallowed the primordial spirit of the short demonic beast, but Ning Lu did not let him refine it. Since the embroidered robed martial artist valued the life spirit of the shorter monstrous beast so much, it meant that the life spirit of the shorter monstrous beast was definitely extraordinary. Ning Lu's perception entered the body of the essence soul battle body and began to probe carefully. He wanted to find out what was different about the essence soul of the shorter demonic beast. Hiss. After probing for 3 minutes, Ning Lu could not help but gasp. The essence spirit of the shorter demon beast was indeed extraordinary. It's the tri-spirit primordial spirit. Ning Lu was so surprised that he couldn't speak. There were many types of essence spirits, but the three-spirit essence spirit was very special. The tri-spirit primordial spirit had a special function. As long as one could find 3 tri-spirit primordial spirits and use a secret technique to fuse them together, then throw them into the furnace to refine for 49 hours, they would be able to refine a brand new puppet. War God Tri-Spirit. The War God Tri-Spirit was similar to the Yuan spirit battle body in that it had a strong restraining effect on the essence spirit and soul power. However, the War God Tri-Spirit was a little different. The War God Tri-Spirit could be used as the second essence spirit of a cultivator, allowing the cultivator to store their essence spirit inside. Everyone knew that the essence spirit was extremely important to a cultivator. As long as the essence spirit left the body for a long time, it would slowly wither and weaken. After a long time, the essence spirit would definitely die. However, the war god tri-spirit was different. The essence spirit was stored inside and was almost indestructible. Even if the body died in battle, the essence spirit could survive. Could the other two also have the tri-spirit essence spirit? With a thought, Ninglu hurriedly checked the other two peak sky supreme realm demonic beasts. As the two demonic beasts were already severely injured, Ninglu could easily detect them. Their essence spirits were also tri-spirit essence spirit. The embroidered robed martial artist's essence spirit is injured. In an instant, Ninglu understood everything. Just now, he had already guessed that the embroidered clothed martial artist was injured. However, he did not know where the embroidered clothed martial artist was injured. Now that he saw the embroidered clothed martial artist place such importance on the three-spirit primordial spirit, Ninglu immediately concluded that there was definitely a problem with the embroidered clothed martial artist's primordial spirit. Something's wrong, but in the blink of an eye, Ninglu felt that something was wrong. If the embroidered clothed martial artist's primordial spirit was truly injured and he needed the war god Trinity's help, he would definitely make a move now. After all, on the surface, the short warrior's essence soul had been devoured by the essence soul battle body. Could it be that the embroidered robed warrior has a tri-spirit primordial spirit? Thinking of this, Ninglu could not help but look at the cultivator in embroidered clothes. Have you thought it through or not? Ninglu's glance caused the embroidered clothed cultivator's expression to turn cold. He said in a deep voice, "State your requests." "I have 3 requests." Ninglu decided to probe the embroidered clothed martial artist. He extended a finger and said, "First, you have to swear a heavenly Tao oath to let us all leave the Moling mountain range." "No problem." The brocade-robed martial artist nodded. As long as he could retrieve the war god Trinity, the embroidered clothed martial artist was willing to let Ninglu and the others go. "Second, I need 10 million sacred-grade essence crystals and 100 immortal crystals." Ninglu demanded an exorbitant price and extended a second finger. "Are you sure you're not joking?" The embroidered clothed martial artist was so angry that he almost made a move. 10 million sacred-grade essence crystals and 100 immortal crystals. How could Ninglu say that? Not to mention that the embroidered clothed martial artist did not have that many essence crystals now. Even if he had them, he would not give them to Ninglu. Such a large number of essence crystals was enough to empty the forbidden land of the Moling mountain range. Forget it if you don't have it. Essence soul battle body, Ninglu did not argue with the embroidered clothed martial artist. He turned and said to the essence soul battle body, "Damn it." The embroidered clothed martial artist cursed inwardly and gritted his teeth. "I can only give you 1 million sacred-grade essence crystals and 10 immortal crystals, 2 million sacred-grade essence crystals and 20 immortal crystals." Ninglu thought about it and said, "This is my bottom line. I'll promise you first. I'll show you later." The embroidered clothed martial artist took a deep breath and agreed on the surface. "No problem. Tell me your third request." "The third request is very simple. Fulfill the first 2 requests first and then wait here with us for half an hour." Ninglu said. "Don't go too far." The embroidered clothed martial artist was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. He could still agree to Ninglu's first 2 requests. But the third request was too nonsensical. The other party did not pay anything and obtained so many sacred-grade essence crystals and immortal crystals for no reason. Moreover, he ensured his own safety. "Don't be angry. As long as you fulfill my first 2 requests." Chapter 1684. Chapter 1684. Chapter 1684 Misunderstanding. "I can promise you, but you have to release both of them," the cultivator in embroidered clothes said in a deep voice, his eyes cold. The war god of Tri-Spirit required 3 Tri-Spirit primordial spirits. Although the essence soul of the shorter demon beast had been devoured by the essence soul battle body, the warrior in embroidered clothes was not particularly worried. Because in the deepest part of the Moling mountain range, in his residence, there was still a primordial spirit of 3 spirits. Therefore, as long as they could take away the remaining 2 demonic beasts, the cultivator in embroidered robes could also refine the war god of Trinity. Do you take me for a fool? Ning Lu pointed at his nose and said coldly, there's a limit to my patience. If you can't fulfill the first 2 requests, I'll kill them immediately. As he spoke, Ning Lu shot a look at the Essence Soul Battle Body. The Primordial Spirit Battle Body understood and directly came to the side of the remaining 2 demonic beasts. He stretched out his hands and grabbed the necks of the 2 demonic beasts. When confronting an expert like the embroidered clothed martial artist, on one hand, one couldn't push too hard, and on the other hand, one couldn't be too cowardly. After all, the initiative was currently in Ning Lu's hands. Ning Lu had the qualifications to negotiate with the embroidered clothed martial artist. All right. The Primordial Soul Battle Body's actions left the cultivator in embroidered clothes with no other choice but to agree. I agree to your first 2 requests. The embroidered clothed martial artist was not the kind of person who would go back on his word. He immediately swore an oath, withdrew a storage pouch from his pocket, and tossed it to Ning Lu. Pa. After catching the storage bag, Ning Lu slightly released his perception power. After confirming that there were 2 million Saint-grade origin crystals and 20 immortal crystals in it, he winked at the Primordial Spirit Battle Body. Whoosh! The Primordial Spirit Battle Body exerted strength in its right hand and grabbed the neck of a demonic beast before throwing it towards the embroidered clothed martial artist. Master! The demonic beast stopped in front of the embroidered robed cultivator and knelt on the ground. It said in fear, "It's all my fault. Master, please punish me. Get back to where you came from. You're not going anywhere without my permission." The cultivator in embroidered robes berated. Yes. The demonic beast did not dare to delay. It nodded its head and quickly left. Let's find your lair first. The corners of Ning Lu's mouth curled into an unnatural smile as he watched the demonic beasts leave. The reason why Ning Lu let this demonic beast go was because he could obtain benefits from the embroidered clothed cultivator. The other reason was because Ning Lu had a backup plan. Ning Lu had left a special scent on the demon beast. Through that scent, he could easily find the location of the demon beast. Half an hour later, I hope you can fulfill your promise. The embroidered robed cultivator glared at Ning Lu coldly. Then, he placed his hands behind his back and floated in mid-air. Although the embroidered clothed cultivator did not seem to be making any moves, that was not the case. The embroidered robed cultivator's powerful perception had already surged out of his body, approaching the sage-grade essence crystal mine from 2 different directions. The embroidered clothed martial artist was not a fool. The Saint-grade origin crystal mine had already collapsed, but Ning Lu and the others were still guarding the exit. It was obvious that there was either something good inside or their companions. Regardless of whether it was good things or Ning Lu's friends, they were all very beneficial to the embroidered clothed martial artists. If it was something good, the brocade-clothed martial artist could keep it for himself. If it was Ning Lu's friend, the cultivator in embroidered clothes could capture him and use that to threaten Ning Lu. Drip. Time passed by quickly. Not only was the brocade-clothed martial artist paying close attention to the changes in the Saint-grade origin crystal mine, Ning Lu and the Dark Emperor were also paying attention to the changes in the mine. Swish, 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 swish. At the same time, within the Yuan crystal mine, 4 figures were moving rapidly. The 2 figures in front were the 100-armed devil and the short and fat old man, while the 2 figures behind were Ningyu and Hu Wentian. Fortunately, the 2 of them are blocking us from behind. Otherwise, we would be in deep trouble today. The 100-armed devil and the short and fat old man looked back at Ningyu and Hu Wentian with fear in their eyes. This was because there was another figure behind Ningyu and Hu Wentian. This figure was dressed in rags and had disheveled hair. Don't be fooled by this martial artist's ragged clothes and disheveled hair. His strength was abnormally terrifying. Originally, the 100-armed devil and the short and fat old man were chasing after Ningyu and Hu Wentian. This ragged old man suddenly attacked and severely injured the 100-armed devil and the short and fat old man with a single move. At this critical moment, fortunately, the 100-armed devil and the short and fat old man hurriedly executed their secret techniques to increase their speed. In an instant, they were in front of Ningyu and Hu Wentian. Otherwise, The two of them would definitely be the ones lagging behind. Now that Ning Yu and Hu Wentian were lagging behind, their lives were temporarily not in danger. Speed up. Ning Yu and Hu Wentian did not even dare to look back. They even used all their strength. Everyone was aware of the current situation. Once the old man caught up, they would definitely be killed. Therefore, Ning Yu and Hu Wentian did not ask anything. There was only one thought in their minds, and that was to leave the Saint-grade Yuan crystal mine as soon as possible and shake off the old man behind them. Buzz. At the same time, at the entrance of the Yuan crystal mine, the brocade-clothed martial artist suddenly opened his eyes and his expression became extremely solemn. Who is it? The brocade-clothed martial artist adjusted his mental state to the peak as he paid close attention to the changes at the entrance. Since the brocade-clothed martial artist knew that someone was leaving the Yuan crystal mine, Ninglu naturally knew about it as well. Since the brocade-clothed martial artist had made the heavenly Dao oath, he wouldn't make a move against them in the Moling mountain range. Therefore, Ninglu ordered the Dark Emperor and the rest to leave with the Stone Beetle army. The 100-armed devil and the short and fat old man were powerful. The Dark Emperor and Zhao Lin wouldn't be of much help even if they stayed behind. On the contrary, they would become a burden. Rustle. The Dark Emperor, Zhao Lin, Hairy Ball, the 5 nine-tailed fox, Di Feng, Jiao Zhengde, and the rest left with the Stone Beetle army in an instant. Very quickly, there were only a few people left at the entrance of the cave. Ninglu, the primordial spirit battle physique, the leader of the stone beetles. Naturally, there was also a subordinate of the brocade-clothed martial artist, a pinnacle heavenly sovereign realm demonic beast. They're out. Just when the Dark Emperor and the rest left, two figures charged out from the cave. The 100-armed devil and the short and fat old man. Initially, Ninglu wanted to receive them. But when he saw the 100-armed devil and the short and fat old man, he immediately stopped and did not make a move. Ninglu not making a move, but that didn't mean that the brocade-clothed martial artist wouldn't make a move. The silhouette of the brocade-clothed martial artist flashed as he charged towards the 100-armed devil and the short and fat old man. Although the brocade-clothed martial artist's primordial spirit was severely injured and his fighting strength was between the pinnacle heavenly sovereign and half-saint realm, he still made a move without any hesitation. Evidently, Ninglu's action of making a move had made the brocade-clothed martial artist make a judgment. The brocade-clothed martial artist thought that the 100-armed devil and the short and fat old man were in cahoots with Ninglu. As long as he could capture the 100-armed devil and the short and fat old man, he could use them to threaten Ninglu in exchange for the last tri-spiritual primordial spirit. Shit, there's someone. The 100-armed devil and the short and fat old man fled with all their might. They never expected that they would be ambushed the moment they left the Saint-grade Yuan crystal mine. The two of them had the same thoughts as the brocade-clothed martial artist. Chapter 1685. Chapter 1685. Chapter 1685. Heartless Valley. Rumble. The battle between the three super powerhouses naturally caused the scene to be exceptionally fiery. The cultivator's strength was between a half-sage and a peak sky supreme. Even though he was fighting 1 against 2, he was not at a disadvantage. However, the 100-armed devil and the short elder were not to be trifled with. After using their trump cards, their battle prowess was infinitely close to that of a half-sage. They were only slightly weaker than the cultivator in brocade clothes. 2 against 1, they were evenly matched with the cultivator in brocade clothes. How is he so powerful? After one move, the cultivator in brocade clothes hurriedly retreated. Before he made his move, the cultivator in brocade clothes had already prepared himself for only one move. If he couldn't control the 100-armed devil and the short elder with one move, he would stop immediately. After all, the cultivator in brocade clothes had strong senses. He had sensed 3 terrifying auras in the cave. The 3 auras in the cave were no weaker than the 100-armed devil and the short elder. At this moment, the cultivator in brocade clothes had an ugly expression on his face. The 100-armed devil and the short elder were hard enough to deal with. If there were 3 more, the consequences would be unimaginable. The cultivator in brocade clothes even had the urge to leave. As the saying went, where there is life, there is hope. The fact that he couldn't refine the war god Trinity was secondary. He couldn't lose his life to refine the war god Trinity. Let's go. The cultivator in brocade clothes made a prompt decision. He turned around and wanted to leave the area. Swoosh. However, before the embroidered clothed cultivator could leave, a figure rushed out of the cave and charged at him with a terrifying speed. Oh no. The cultivator in brocade clothes' pupils shrank. He immediately put his hands in front of him, trying to block the fatal attack. Swoosh. What happened next stunned the cultivator in brocade clothes. The fist of the figure that rushed out of the cave stopped when it was a finger's length away from his head. It didn't hit his head. Gulp. Seeing that the old man in brocade clothes had stopped attacking, the cultivator in brocade clothes couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva. That was close. This was because he sensed a heart-palpitating aura from the old man in ragged clothes. Sage. Sage. Suddenly, the embroidered clothed cultivator's pupils constricted, and he froze in place. The old man in ragged clothes was a genuine sage. What's your relationship with the heartless old man? The elder's perception probed the warrior's body before asking, "Are you from the Passionless Valley? How do you know about the Heartless Valley?" The old man's words made the embroidered clothed martial artist feel as if he had seen a ghost. One had to know that the unrequited Love Valley was not a force of the Sky Demon region. In fact, it did not even belong to the Celestial Spirit region. In the Immortal Spirit region, the number of people who knew of the Passionless Valley could be counted on one's fingers. Furthermore, all the brocade-robed martial artists knew of it. Where did this old man come from? How did he know about the Passionless Valley? Answer me. The old man stretched out his right hand and grabbed the warrior's neck. He said coldly, "What is your relationship with the heartless old man?" Cough, cough. Being grabbed by the neck by the old man, the warrior in embroidered robes coughed painfully. "Heartless old man is my master." The embroidered clothed martial artist replied honestly. Although the warrior in embroidered robes had thought of lying to the old man, he immediately dismissed the idea when he saw the old man's eyes. From the old man's eyes, the warrior in embroidered robes could see something that only the heartless old man could see. The heartless old man was the valley master of the Passionless Valley, and he was terrifyingly powerful. Since the old man's eyes were similar to the heartless old man's, it meant that they must have some sort of relationship. "Senior, if my master has offended you in any way, please," the warrior in embroidered robes said cautiously. "You'd better behave yourself." Before the warrior in embroidered robes could finish his sentence, the old man slapped him across the face and sent him flying several feet away. "You should feel lucky that you're the disciple of the heartless old man, otherwise, you'd definitely die today." The old man's cold gaze swept across the warrior in embroidered robes, then he stomped on the ground and charged at the 100-armed demon and the short and fat old man. "I'm going to kill you." Seeing the old man charging at them, the 100-armed demon and the short and fat old man's faces turned green. Even though they had a trump card, it was useless in front of a sage. The old man was ruthless and didn't hold back at all. Fart. Fart. In just an instant, the 100-armed demon and the short and fat old man were both killed. Pa. Pa. Next, the old man placed his left hand on the 100-armed demon's head, and his right hand on the short and fat old man's head. He started devouring crazily. Fart. No matter what, the short and fat old man and the 100-armed demon were Devil Spirit Realm experts. If they were devoured by the old man just like that, wouldn't they lose their dignity? Therefore, the 100-armed demon used his trump card with all his might before he died. Rage of the Sage. With a loud roar, the 100-armed demon sent a terrifying sound wave attack at the old man. The so-called Rage of the Sage was a unique attack that was equivalent to the roar of a sage. In order to use the Rage of the Sage, one would need a huge amount of energy. At the very least, one would need a drop of true dragon blood. The 100-armed demon was able to use the Rage of the Sage at the cost of self-destruction. The Rage of the Sage was the first attack, and the self-destruction of the 100-armed demon was the second attack. After two powerful attacks were executed, The short and fat old man was in the most miserable state. He was the closest to the 100-armed demon, and he wasn't as strong as the old man. Whoosh. Therefore, the first to die was the short and fat old man. The old man was powerful. He opened his hand and formed a barrier before him. The rage of the sage and the self-destruction of the 100-armed demon. The two terrifying attacks were actually easily blocked by the old man. How terrifying! Seeing that the old man had blocked two powerful attacks by himself, Ningyu and Hu Wentian exchanged a glance. They could see the shock in each other's eyes. The sage was truly a sage. His strength far exceeded ordinary pinnacle heavenly sovereigns. Due to the old man's powerful attack, Ningyu and the rest weren't affected. Roughly a few minutes later, the old man retracted the barrier before him and turned around, walking towards Ningyu and Hu Wentian. Shit. Seeing the old man's actions, Ningyu's heart jolted. He knew that things weren't looking good. The old man had first devoured the 100-armed demon and the short and fat old man. Now, he was clearly trying to devour him and Hu Wentian. Senior. Seeing that the old man was about to reach them, Ningyu immediately asked, "Do you need a huge amount of energy?" Emachem? Hearing Ningyu's words, the old man's brows twitched. That's right. I need a huge amount of energy. But it should be enough after devouring the two of you. Senior, it's not enough even if you devour me. Ningyu gritted his teeth as his aura started to drop. Pinnacle Heavenly Sovereign, Late Phase Heavenly Sovereign. In the span of a few short seconds, Chen Xiaolian's expression changed. Chapter 1686. Ogre interesting. Sensing that Ningyu's aura had dropped from the pinnacle Heavenly Sovereign Realm to the 5th grade Earth Sovereign Realm, the old man stopped and looked at Ningyu with interest. I've seen many elixirs and secret arts that can raise cultivation, but those that can raise cultivation from the 5th grade Earth Sovereign Realm to the pinnacle Heavenly Sovereign Realm are rare, even in another world. I never expected to see one in the Celestial Spirit Realm. The worry in Ningyu's heart lessened a little when he saw the old man stop. No matter what, as long as the old man didn't attack him immediately, he would have a chance to live. Something's wrong. Suddenly, the old man's pupils shrank. He stomped on the ground and flew in front of Ningyu. Stretching out his right hand, the old man grabbed Ningyu's neck and said in a deep voice, "Tell me, what did you devour?" This is bad. The old man's reaction made Ningyu's heart skip a beat. He didn't expect that even though he hid it so deeply, the old man still found out. True dragon blood. Ever since he found out that the old man was a sage, Ningyu had been trying his best to hide the aura of the true dragon's blood. Who would have thought that the shrewd old man would still discover some clues? One must know that the blood of a true dragon was fatally tempting to sage-level powerhouses. I devoured 2 drops of true dragon blood. Ningyu gritted his teeth and replied helplessly. Ningyu knew very well that lying in front of the old man was no different from courting death. Ha ha ha. No wonder I had a familiar feeling. Hearing Ningyu's answer, the old man threw his head back and laughed maniacally. The heavens haven't forsaken me, the demonic human. Ha ha ha. The old man laughed maniacally. In the end, he couldn't help but cry. Human. Human demon? Ningyu and the others did not have any special reaction to the human demon. However, on the other side, the cultivator in embroidered robes gaped. He even stuttered when he spoke. In the sky demon region, or even in the immortal spirit region, no one had heard of the human demon. However, in the brocade-clothed warriors, which was the plane where the Passionless Valley was located, demonic humans were a synonym for terror. It was rumored that the human demon had once killed a saint single-handedly. As for why the human demon had fallen to the immortal spirit realm, the cultivator in embroidered robes did not know the exact reason. "Kid, how about we make a deal?" After laughing maniacally, the human demon stared at Ningyu passionately and said, "Give me the true dragon blood in your body, and I'll let you do whatever you want in the lower realm of the immortal spirit realm." Could it be that this old man has a special hobby? Being stared at by the human demon, Ningyu felt his whole body go numb. However, he had no choice but to lower his head. Ningyu braced himself and said, "Senior human demon, The 2 drops of true dragon blood have already been refined by me. Even if I wanted to give them to you, I don't have the strength. You don't have to worry about that. The human demon waved his hand and said, do you think it's that easy to refine the true dragon blood? If I'm not wrong, you've only refined less than 1/10 of the true dragon blood. The rest is all stored in your body. Ning-Yu was slightly taken aback. He hurriedly released his soul power and began to inspect his body from all angles. This inspection left Ning-Yu completely dumbfounded. The human demon was right. Most of the true dragon blood's medicinal effects were stored in his body. As a pill refiner, Ning-Yu was very familiar with this situation. After all, when he had just been reborn, this body's veins were blocked, and the medicinal effects were stored in his tendons. Although there were some differences between the 2 situations, there wasn't much of a difference. Senior human demon, I'm willing to make this deal with you. Ning-Yu had no other choice. After all, he didn't know the human demon's temper. If he angered the human demon, he would definitely be in trouble. Good. I, the human demon, will not let you suffer. The human demon repeated the word good a few times before moving his palm from Ning-Yu's neck to his head. Pa. The moment the human demon's palm exerted force, Ning-Yu felt a terrifying force coming from the human demon's palm and entering his body. Kai. This force was terrifying and domineering. It rampaged around in Ning-Yu's body. When it saw the true dragon blood that hadn't been refined, it immediately controlled it. The other drop of true dragon blood must not be discovered. Ning-Yu guarded his mind and tried his best to hide the other drop of true dragon blood. Although the human demon said it on the surface, who knew what the human demon was thinking? If the human demon didn't keep his word, Ning-Yu would suffer a double loss. Ning-Lu, what do we do now? The human demon's actions caused the Dark Emperor's face to turn ugly. At this moment, the Dark Emperor was in agony. He and Ning-Yu were brothers of life and death. Now, Ning-Yu's life was in the human demon's hands and he couldn't do anything about it. This feeling made the Dark Emperor extremely pained and unhappy. In fact, the Dark Emperor had already made up his mind. If the human demon dared to do anything to Ning-Yu, he would take action immediately. Even if he died in battle, he wouldn't hesitate. Don't act rashly. Ning-Lu could see things more clearly than the Dark Emperor. Ever since the human demon's palm was placed on Ning-Yu's head, he felt that something was amiss. If the human demon wanted to take it by force, he would have done so long ago. Why would he wait until now? Although the human demon was domineering and devoured the 100-armed ghost demon and the short and fat old man, the 2 of them were in demonic spirit realm. The human demon didn't devour the heavenly supreme experts in Imperial Peak, Gao Zhengde, and the rest. It was obvious that the human demon wasn't someone who would kill the innocent. Moreover, the changes in Ning-Yu made Ning-Lu feel like he was in a trance. It was as though Ning-Yu's physique was changing. Body tempering. Body tempering with the true dragon's blood. The more Ning-Lu thought about it, the more terrified he felt. If the human demon really helped Ning-Yu temper his body with the true dragon's blood, Ning-Yu's future would be limitless. Since ancient times, there were very few people who were fortunate enough to see the true dragon's blood. Warriors who were qualified to use the true dragon's blood to temper their body were even rarer. Once Ning-Yu completed the body tempering with the true dragon's blood, Ning-Yu's aptitude and strength would take a leap in quality. Dragon's blood tempering. Ning-Lu could only see some clues, but Ning-Yu could feel the domineering and terrifying power of the dragon's blood tempering. There were a few times when Ning-Yu almost couldn't endure the excruciating pain. However, Ning-Yu understood that if he couldn't endure it now, his achievements in the future would be limited. Hence, Ning-Yu clenched his teeth and persevered. Not bad, not bad. He can endure the body tempering with the true dragon's blood without making a sound. He's a good seedling indeed. Ning-Yu's calm performance made the human demon nod his head slightly. If I could take him in as my disciple, I think. Forget it. I'll just help him. I've already sworn that I won't take any more disciples. The human demon took a deep breath and the terrifying power in his body rushed out again. It entered Ning-Yu's body and started to devour the true dragon's blood. One part of the power devoured the true dragon's blood while the other helped Ningyu temper his body. Chapter 1687. 8th Grade Earth Supreme Crack. Body tempering with the true dragon's blood was something that ordinary cultivators could never experience in their entire lives. Under the powerful body tempering ability of the true dragon's blood, the bones in Ningyu's body emitted cracking sounds. Furthermore, a lot of black impurities seeped out of Ningyu's skin. In fact, after reaching the sovereign realm, there were very few impurities in one's body. Even so, Ningyu could still expel so many impurities from his body. One could only imagine how terrifying the true dragon's blood was. Boom. 5 minutes later, a muffled sound suddenly came from Ningyu's body. Boom. Along with the muffled sound, Ningyu's aura had risen from 5th Grade Earth Supreme to 6th Grade Earth Supreme. This, sensing the change in Ningyu's aura, the Dark Emperor and Ninglu were both shocked. At first, the Dark Emperor was still suspicious of Ningyu's speculation. But now, he had basically concluded that Ningyu was indeed tempering his body with the true dragon's blood. Fortunately, the saint human demon helped. Ninglu took a deep breath and secretly broke into a cold sweat for Ningyu. Under normal circumstances, it would be very difficult for Ningyu to temper his body with the true dragon's blood, not to mention 2 drops of it. Fortunately, the human demon helped to absorb a portion of the true dragon's blood's effects, leaving only a small portion for Ningyu to temper his body. Otherwise, even if Ningyu was a heavenly supreme in his previous life, he wouldn't be able to survive rashly tempering his body with the true dragon's blood. Gulp. On the other side, the cultivator in embroidered clothes couldn't help swallowing a mouthful of saliva. At this moment, the cultivator in embroidered clothes already knew that Ningyu was using the true dragon's blood. However, the cultivator in embroidered clothes couldn't understand why the human demon would help Ningyu temper his body with the true dragon's blood instead of killing Ningyu and obtaining the true dragon's blood. One must know that in their plane, the human demon was an existence that killed without batting an eyelid. Is he not an immortal spirit realm cultivator? Suddenly, the cultivator in embroidered clothes seemed to have thought of something. His entire person became somewhat agitated. Ningyu wasn't at the immortal spirit realm, and he had reached some sort of agreement with the human demon, so it was very likely that he would be the biggest loser. After all, the human demon didn't seem to have a good relationship with the heartless old elder. Bang! At this moment, another muffled sound came from Ningyu's body. 7 old. That sound had caused Ningyu's cultivation to rise from the 6th Grade Earth Sovereign Realm to the 7th Grade Earth Sovereign Realm. Old dragon blood. While devouring the excess true dragon blood in Ningyu's body, the human devil paid close attention to Ningyu's body tempering. Rank. 7-inch, old saint, the saint, spirit dragon, was realm, the true, Chen. In the initial view of the demonic human, even if Ningyu could persevere, his cultivation would only reach the 7th Grade Earth Sovereign Realm. But looking at it now, Ningyu had a high chance of reaching the 8th Grade Earth Sovereign Realm. Bang! Reality proved. The human demon was wrong. A few minutes later, when the third sound came from Ningyu's body, the human demon knew that Ningyu had reached 8th rank. At this time, the true dragon blood's body tempering was also completed. 2 drops of true dragon blood had helped Huang Xiaolong reach 8th rank from 5th rank, and expelled many impurities. It had to be said that Ningyu's opportunity was too great. Absorb. Seeing that Ningyu had completed the body tempering, the human demon quickly retracted his hands from Ningyu's body and started to use an unknown spell to devour and refine the true dragon blood. Kai. The true dragon blood was extremely terrifying. Even a saint like the human demon didn't dare to be careless. As the human demon devoured and refined the true dragon blood, Ninglu and the other cultivators didn't even dare to breathe loudly. They held their breaths, afraid that they would disturb the human demon. If anyone disturbed the human demon now, the consequences would be unimaginable. Drip. Time flew by quickly. Ningyu tidied himself up, changed his clothes, and moved to Ninglu's side. How is it? Did you find anything? Ningyu carefully communicated with Ninglu. In fact, Ningyu had secretly contacted Ninglu at the beginning, asking him to pay attention to the human demon and try to find his weakness. There should be some kind of seal in his body. Ninglu remained calm on the surface, but he secretly sent a voice transmission to Ningyu. Even if the human demon devoured 2 drops of true dragon blood, he won't be able to break the seal in his body. It's just as I guessed. There is indeed a seal in the human demon's body. Ningyu nodded, expressing his agreement with Ninglu's words. When he was so close to the human devil just now, Ningyu noticed a little clue. There seemed to be a terrifying seal aura in the human demon's body. If Ningyu's guess was correct, the seal in the human demon's body should be one of the 10 great ancient seals. The reason why Ningyu could sense the seal aura in the human demon's body was because Ningyu had seen this kind of seal in his previous life. The 10 great ancient seals, ranked 10th, was the energy seal. The so-called energy seal sealed the energy in a martial artist's body and formed an energy whirlpool inside the martial artist's body. Every once in a while, a huge amount of energy had to fill the whirlpool. Otherwise, the martial artist would die without a doubt. The energy seal had a special characteristic, and that was that it became stronger the stronger it was. If the sealed martial artist was at the Supreme Being realm, then the amount of energy needed to fill the energy seal would be equivalent to the energy in the body of a Supreme Being. If the sealed martial artist was a sage, then the amount of energy needed would be abnormally terrifying. Phew. Just as Ningyu was lost in thought, the human demon let out a breath of turbid air, a relieved expression on his face. Finally solved the problem in my body. Feeling the energy whirlpool in his body shrinking, the human demon wasn't as worried anymore. After devouring the 100-armed ghost demon, the short and fat elder, and now the 2 drops of real dragon's blood, the energy whirlpool in the human demon's body was full. All thanks to the 2 drops of real dragon's blood. Human demon looked around and saw the warriors in brocade clothes and defy. He thought that it was a close shave. The enormous amount of energy contained in the 2 drops of real dragon's blood wasn't something defy and the rest could compare with. Even if the human demon devoured everyone present, he wouldn't be able to fill the energy whirlpool in his body. Luckily, there were 2 drops of real dragon's blood. Otherwise, the human demon would have been sucked dry by the energy whirlpool. Crack. At the same time, in a dark room in another dimension, an elder slammed his right hand on the chair below him, smashing it into pieces. Crack. The elder stood up abruptly and cracked his knuckles. It's the 3rd time. The elder's eyes were cold as he said fiercely, "You managed to find so much energy in a place like Celestial Spirit Realm where birds don't even shit. It seems like you must have had a miraculous encounter. It seems like I have to contact my disciple." Then, the elder took out a golden token and exerted some force with his right hand. Crack. The token shattered into 2 halves. Heh. Chapter 1688. Chilean skeleton capture. Capture the demonic human? The sudden order in his mind stupefied the cultivator in embroidered clothes. The embroidered-clothed martial artist knew very well that the order that had suddenly appeared in his mind had come from the heartless old man in another plane. In other words, it was his master who had transmitted it to him. However, no matter how one looked at it, this order was a little untimely. The human demon was now a sage. His strength was terrifying. With his current strength, he might not even be able to withstand a single blow from the human devil. The battle prowess of a human demon saint can only last for 3 days. Then it will drop rapidly. Just as the cultivator in embroidered clothes was stunned, another message appeared in his mind. This news caused the embroidered-clothed cultivator to reveal an excited expression. If it was really as heartless old man had said, that the 3rd heavenly demonic descendant's cultivation would rapidly decline, then his chance would come. After all, apart from the human demon, he was the strongest person present. Once the human devil's strength declined, he would become the absolute overlord. I must think of a way to keep human demon and the others here. The warrior in embroidered robes rolled his eyes as he tried to think of a countermeasure. The cultivator in embroidered robes was the owner of the Moling Mountain Range. Due to the agreement he had with some immortal spirit realm cultivators, he didn't dare to leave the Moling Mountain Range so easily. There was only one way to control Human Devil and the others without leaving the Moling mountain range, and that was to make them stay. Many thanks, Senior Human Demon. At this moment, Ningyu came before the Human Demon and cupped his fists. If it wasn't for Senior Human Demon's help, I wouldn't have been able to refine my physique with the true dragon blood, nor would I be able to reach the 8th grade Earth Sovereign Realm. It's nothing. Besides, you've already paid the price of 2 drops of true dragon blood. The Human Demon waved his hand and said, "It's just that the deal we made before, I let you do whatever you want in the immortal spirit realm. I might have to honor it later, because I still have something important to do. Senior, feel free to do whatever you want. As for the deal, I don't care." Ningyu did not dare to make any more deals with the Human Devil. The Human Devil had already helped him a lot. If it wasn't for the Human Devil helping him refine his body with the true dragon blood, he would have been suffering the backlash of devouring the true dragon blood alone. How could he have obtained so many benefits? Humph. I, the demonic human, am a man of my word. Hearing Ningyu's words, the Human Devil's face darkened. He said coldly, "In a month, we will meet at the Alchemy Union's headquarters in the Pill Formation continent. When the time comes, I will make your name known throughout the entire Sky Demon region." Without waiting for Ningyu's response, Human Demon's figure flashed as he headed straight for the outskirts of the Moling mountain range. Senior. The Human Demon had only taken a few steps when Ningyu and the warrior in embroidered robes shouted at the same time. After saying this, Ningyu and the warrior in embroidered robes looked at each other. Ningyu's eyes were filled with confusion. He called the Human Demon because he wanted the Human Demon to help him deal with the embroidered clothed martial artist. This was to prevent the embroidered clothed martial artist from attacking him after the Human Demon left. Why did the embroidered clothed martial artist call the demonic human to stop? Ningyu was puzzled. It wasn't just Ningyu who was puzzled. Even Ninglu and the others were confused. In their hearts, the embroidered clothed martial artist was either rusty or kicked by a donkey. In fact, the embroidered clothed martial artist was also very depressed. He didn't dare to casually respond to the heartless old man's request. He could only summon the Human Demon and think of a way to make him stay. "You'd better give me a reasonable explanation." The Human Demon stopped in his tracks and casually swept his gaze over Ningyu. Then, his gaze fell on the embroidered clothed martial artist. "Otherwise, you should know the consequences." On the other side, Ningyu's gaze fell on the Human Demon. In truth, Ningyu wasn't very clear about the relationship between the Human Demon and the embroidered clothed martial artist. But judging from the attitude of the Human Demon when he mentioned the heartless old man, there was definitely some conflict between the two. Ningyu pondered. Just what conflict was there between the Human Demon and the heartless old man? Could it be that the energy seal in the Human Demon's body was placed by the heartless old man? Suddenly, Ningyu's pupils constricted as he thought of a terrifying possibility. The Human Demon didn't want to kill the embroidered clothed martial artist. This meant that he didn't believe that the seal was placed by the heartless old man. Let's wait and see. Soon, Ningyu gave up on guessing. Instead of guessing, he might as well ask the Human Demon himself. "Senior Human Demon, if I'm not wrong, you should need a large amount of energy." The embroidered clothed martial artist tried to calm himself down and said as naturally as possible, "I'm the owner of the Moling mountain range. There are large amounts of immortal crystals where I live." In order to convince the Human Demon, the embroidered clothed martial artist reached into his robes and took out a storage bag. Whoosh! With a flick of his wrist, the embroidered clothed martial artist threw the storage bag to the Human Demon 50 immortal crystals. The Human Demon casually swept the storage bag and kept it. Even though the energy seal in the Human Demon's body had stabilized, it wouldn't be long before the seal's next activation. The reason why the Human Demon said he wanted to go to the Pill Formation Continent's Alchemy Union was to find high-grade pills there to fill the seal's next activation. Now, the embroidered clothed martial artist took out 50 immortal crystals. Although it was a drop in the bucket, it was better than nothing. "How many immortal crystals are you talking about?" The Human Demon looked at the embroidered clothed martial artist and asked. 1,000. The embroidered clothed martial artist gritted his teeth and said, "There are a total of 1,000 immortal crystals where I live. Fuck." Ning Lu cursed when he heard the embroidered clothed martial artist's words. If he'd known that the embroidered clothed martial artist had so many immortal crystals, he would have extorted more than 2 million saint-grade essence crystals and 20 immortal crystals. Not enough. The human demon and Ning Lu were the complete opposite. The human demon shook his head. "Do you have true dragon blood or something as good as true dragon blood?" "I don't have true dragon blood, but I know a place where there's a treasure comparable to true dragon blood," the embroidered clothed martial artist said. As he said this, the embroidered clothed martial artist's heart bled. He'd endured in the Moling mountain range for many years and even turned this place into a forbidden land for one thing, something comparable to true dragon blood. But now, he had to expose that thing in order to keep the human demon here. The embroidered clothed martial artist's expression turned ugly. "What thing?" The human demon's brows arched. He had to admit that the embroidered clothed martial artist had aroused his desire. "Chileen," the embroidered clothed martial artist said in a clear voice. "There's a Chileen cave beside my residence, and in the deepest part of the cave, there's a giant Chileen skeleton." Gulp. The embroidered clothed martial artist's words left everyone dumbfounded. They swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Chileen skeleton. Chapter 1689. Swoosh. Swoosh. The human demon stared fixedly at the cultivator's eyes to make sure he wasn't lying. The Chileen skeleton was indeed several times more valuable than true dragon blood. To an ordinary cultivator, the energy contained in true dragon blood couldn't be estimated. But to a powerful cultivator like the human demon, the Chileen skeleton wasn't any worse than true dragon blood. Because there was a high chance of extracting Chileen blood from the skeleton. Compared to true dragon blood, Chileen blood also contained a terrifying amount of energy. "You better not lie to me." The human demon took a deep breath and looked at the cultivator. "Lead the way, take me to the Chileen cave." "Yes." The cultivator hurriedly nodded and headed deeper into the Moling mountain range. "Ningyu, come with me. The rest of you can go back." The demonic human did not immediately follow behind the cultivator in embroidered clothes. Instead, he gave Ningyu some instructions before leaving. Ningyu didn't expect the human demon to let him follow, so he was momentarily dazed. However, Ningyu was only dazed for a moment. After all, the human demon had asked him to follow, so he had no other choice. However, Ningyu left a few hurried instructions before leaving. Ningyu didn't doubt that they could leave the Moling mountain range without a hitch. Before leaving, Ningyu had given them 2 tasks. First, find the law of space and take it with them. Second, meet up with Xie Ziyi and Grandmaster Xingyun to ensure their safety. Finished, Ningyu followed closely behind the human demon and disappeared. Chileen Cave. Located in the deepest part of the Moling mountain range, next to the cultivator's residence. At this time, in front of the Chileen Cave. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. 3 cultivators appeared at the same time. Ningyu, the human demon, and the cultivator in embroidered robes. The 3 stared at the pitch-black Chileen Cave, none of them speaking. The scene became somewhat silent for a moment. There is indeed a Chileen skeleton inside. The first to break the silence was the human demon. A look of excitement appeared on his face as he looked at the cultivator in embroidered robes and said, "Lead the way." The cultivator in embroidered robes opened his mouth slightly, a look of deep dread on his face. Ever since he had discovered this Chileen cave, the embroidered clothed martial artist had entered it no less than 100 times. Unfortunately, every attempt ended in failure. Now that the human demon had allowed the embroidered robed cultivator to enter the Chileen cave first, the embroidered robed cultivator naturally didn't dare to move forward. Seeing that the embroidered clothed cultivator had no intention of entering, the demonic human snorted coldly, "You should know the consequences of lying to me." "All right, I'll go in." The warrior in embroidered robes gritted his teeth and moved his feet, entering the Chileen cave first. Shosho. The human demon and Ningyu followed behind the embroidered robed cultivator. In the pitch-black cave. The brocade-robed cultivator was in front, while Ningyu and the human demon were at the back. The three of them moved forward cautiously. Amongst the three of them, the demonic human was a genuine saint. The silk-clothed cultivator's fighting strength was between the pinnacle heavenly sovereign and half-saint realm, and even the weakest, Ningyu, was an 8th-grade earth sovereign. They had to be extremely careful in the Chilean cave. From this, one could see just how dangerous the Chilean cave was. Swish. 15 minutes after Ningyu's group moved forward, the silk-clothed cultivator suddenly came to a stop. The cultivator stood in place, as if he had discovered something terrifying, and even his footsteps began to retreat. "Let's go," the human demon berated. If Ningyu could see clearly in the pitch-black cave, he would notice that the human demon had an ugly expression on his face. Just what kind of terrifying thing could make the silk-clothed cultivator and the human demon show such expressions? My Chilean cave. Ningyu carefully probed with his perception. The moment Ningyu used his perception, he couldn't help but curse. At this moment, Ningyu finally understood why the silk-clothed cultivator had stopped, and why the human demon's tone was so cold. Fire Chilean insect. Suddenly, a large number of red insects appeared in front of them. Each of these insects was the size of a fist. Although it was very dark inside the Chilean cave, Ningyu could still sense the condition of the fire Chilean insects through his perception. The fire Chilean insects grew where the Chilean died. They fed on the Chilean's skeleton, blood, and anything related to the Chilean. The fire Chilean insects had a total of 3 forms. The first had a single horn on its head and was the size of a chicken egg. The second had 2 horns on its head and was the size of a fist. The fire Chilean insects ahead had clearly reached the second form. As long as the fire Chilean insects could reach the second form, their cultivation would reach the terrifying Sky Supreme realm. Ningyu roughly estimated that there were several dozen fire Chilean insects in front of them. From the looks of it, if they wanted to reach the deepest part of the Chilean cave, they would have to pass through the fire Chilean insects' territory. Senior human demon, there are fire Chilean insects in front of us. The last few times I came here, I was always beaten back by them. The silk-clothed cultivator revealed a panicked expression, not daring to move forward. You already knew that there were fire Chilean insects here, didn't you? The human demon turned to stare at the silk-clothed cultivator. Why didn't you tell me? Boom. Being stared at by the human demon, the silk-clothed cultivator felt like he had fallen into an ice cave. The silk-clothed cultivator understood that if he didn't have a reasonable explanation, the human demon would really kill him. After all, he had already brought the human demon here. For the rest of the journey, the human demon didn't care if he didn't have a reasonable explanation. I've entered the Chilean cave more than 100 times before, but only once did I see a fire Chilean insect. The silk-clothed cultivator didn't dare to look straight into the human demon's eyes. He gritted his teeth. I felt that there wouldn't be a fire Chilean insect this time, but who would have thought? Light up the Chilean cave. The human demon interrupted the silk-clothed cultivator. What? The silk-clothed cultivator was a little stunned. I don't want to say it a second time, the human demon coldly said. From the moment he entered the Chilean cave until now, the human demon could completely light up the cave himself. However, the human demon didn't do so. This was because the human demon knew that the Chilean cave was very special. With his strength, if he wanted to light up the cave, he would need to expend a lot of energy. It wasn't wise to expend so much energy before even seeing the Chilean skeleton. Since the silk-clothed cultivator had made a mistake, he would be the one to light the cave. Okay. The silk-clothed cultivator had no choice but to display the energy within his body. Kai. In order to light up the Chilean cave, the silk-clothed cultivator didn't hesitate to burn his energy. In fact, burning his energy was the best way to light up the Chilean cave. Hiss. Just as the silk-clothed cultivator lit up the Chilean cave, Ningyu sucked in a breath of cold air. His perception had discovered several dozen fire Chilean insects, and there were indeed several dozen fire Chilean insects in front of him. However, behind these several dozen fire Chilean insects, there was a single fire Chilean insect the size of a human head. This fire Chilean insect had already reached its 3rd form, the ultimate form of the fire Chilean insect. Chapter 1690. Chapter 1690. Controlling the Insect King Fire. Fire. Fire Chilean Insect King. The silk-robed cultivator stuttered when he saw the huge fire Chilean insect at the back. He even revealed a terrified expression. The silk-robed cultivator's perception was powerful, so he could naturally sense the fire Chilean Insect King's cultivation. A half-step saint. The fire Chilean Insect King was a half-step saint. However, this half-step saint wasn't the same as an ordinary human half-step saint. Even two human half-step saints might not be a match for it. If even a fire Chilean Insect King can be nurtured, it looks like there's more than one Chilean skeleton in the Chilean cave. The human demon wasn't frightened by the fire Chilean Insect King. In fact, he even revealed an excited expression. One had to know that this fire Chilean Insect King was a genuine half-step saint. For it to nurture a half-step saint fire Chilean Insect King, one could imagine how many Chilean skeletons there were in the Chilean cave. Leave the fire Kylin Bug King to me. You deal with the rest of the fire Kylin bugs. Also, protect Ningyu. The human demon didn't waste any time. He immediately charged toward the army of fire Chilean insects. Are you toying with me? The silk-robed cultivator nearly died from anger when he saw the human demon charge out. The human demon was a saint, so dealing with a half-step saint fire Chilean Insect King shouldn't be a problem. However, he was different. Although he was a half-step saint, he could only display the strength of a peak sky supreme. In other words, he couldn't deal with dozens of fire Chilean insects at the same time while ensuring Ningyu's safety. The silk-robed cultivator's eyes turned as he tried to think of a countermeasure. Whoosh. However, time waited for no one. What happened next caused the silk-robed cultivator's expression to change drastically. When the human demon charged into the swarm of fire Chilean insects, dozens of them attacked him in a frenzy. If the fire Chilean insect's target was the human demon, the silk-robed cultivator's expression wouldn't have changed so much. Most importantly, the fire Chilean insects only chased after the human demon for a few seconds before stopping. Because the human demon was already very close to the fire Chilean Insect King, the dozens of fire Chilean insects didn't dare approach the human demon out of fear. These fire Chilean beetles didn't dare to approach the fire Chilean Beetle King or the human devil, but that didn't mean that they would stay where they were. It was clear that these fire Chilean insects all turned their heads and rushed towards the embroidered clothed cultivator and Ningyu. Damn it! Seeing the numerous fire Chilean insects that were continuously approaching him, the embroidered clothed martial artist could not help but quietly curse. He immediately pulled Ningyu behind him and said in a deep voice, "You better stay here obediently. Do not go anywhere without my permission." Swoosh. In order to ensure Ningyu's safety, the embroidered clothed martial artist did not hesitate to use his Yuan Qi to arrange a protective barrier around Ningyu's body. On one hand, the embroidered robed martial artist had to illuminate the Chilean cave. On the other hand, he had to consume his origin energy to help Ningyu set up a protective barrier. On the other hand, he had to deal with dozens of fire Chilean insects. With these three matters piled up together, the embroidered clothed martial artist was unable to voice his bitterness. Fortunately, the embroidered robed cultivator was a half-sage and had more essence in his body. Otherwise, he would have died if he had to deal with all three at once. Kill. After arranging everything, the embroidered clothed martial artist completely let loose. He charged into the army of fire Chilean insects and began a great battle with them. Crack. The embroidered clothed martial artist was worthy of being a half-sage expert. Although he was unable to display the combat power of a half-sage, he was still able to kill a Sky Supreme fire Chilean insect in a single exchange. There were dozens of fire Chilean beetles, each with a cultivation base ranging from early to late Sky Supreme. The embroidered clothed martial artist killed an early Sky Supreme fire Chilean insect in one move. Rumble. By killing a fire Chilean insect, the embroidered clothed martial artist had completely alerted the enemy. The remaining dozens of fire Chilean insects knew of the embroidered clothed martial artist's strength, so they were extremely careful in the following battle. The fire Chilean insect's caution made the embroidered clothed martial artist very vexed. He was vexed at his rashness. He had not expected these fire Kirene insects to have intelligence. If he had known, he definitely would not have alerted the enemy and exposed his strength ahead of time. However, there was no medicine for regret in this world. The embroidered clothed martial artist could only brace himself and fight with the remaining fire Kirene insects. The embroidered clothed martial artist fought with the fire Kirene insects, while the human demon dealt with the fire Kirene insect king. In this area, Ningyu was the most carefree. However, Ningyu might look carefree on the surface, but that was not the case. He had been secretly observing the battle between the human demon and the fire Kirene insect king. In terms of strength, the human demon was definitely stronger than the fire Kirene insect king. For some reason, the human demon did not choose to use brute force to kill the fire Kirene insect king. Instead, he chose to slowly tangle with it. I got it. Suddenly, Ningyu thought of a possibility. The reason why the human demon did not choose to defeat the fire Kirene insect king was definitely because he wanted to subdue it. This was the most likely possibility, and in Ningyu's opinion, it was the only possibility. Why does the human demon want to subdue the fire Kirene insect king? Ningyu muttered with a slight frown. In truth, subduing the fire Kirene insect king was a thankless task for Ningyu. Firstly, the human demon was a saint. Although there was an energy seal in his body, with his strength, he could definitely find enough energy before the seal broke. Secondly, subduing the fire Kirene insect king was simply too difficult. It was even harder than ascending to the heavens. In any case, Ningyu did not believe that the human demon could subdue the fire Kirene insect king. Dozens of Sky Supreme Realm fire Kirene insects. Ningyu's gaze shifted from the battle between the human demon and the fire Kirene insect king to another battlefield. The embroidered clothed cultivator was worthy of being called a semisage expert. He had alerted the fire Kirene beetles, and had put them on guard. But, he still had the upper hand. If the situation dragged on like this, there was a high chance that the cultivator in embroidered clothes could defeat or even kill the dozens of fire Kirene insects. Ningyu's attention was not on whether the cultivator could kill the fire Kirene insects, but on how he could devour them. Ningyu was currently an 8th grade Earth Supreme. If he could devour all of the fire Kirene insects, there was a high chance that his cultivation would rise to a terrifying 9th grade Earth Supreme. Of course, it was extremely difficult to devour the fire Kirene insects under such circumstances. Ningyu was only thinking about it and had no intention of putting it into practice. Crack, crack, crack. Suddenly, a change occurred. Dozens of fire Kirene insects were originally fighting with the cultivator in embroidered clothes. But soon, the fire Kirene insects started killing each other. The fire Kirene insects with higher cultivation frantically devoured the fire Kirene insects with lower cultivation. In just an instant, more than half of the fire Kirene insects were devoured. Furthermore, the remaining fire Kirene insects were decreasing at a visible rate. What's going on? The sudden change confused the brocade-clothed martial artist and Ningyu. However, this confusion did not last long. Soon, Ningyu discovered the problem. After the fire Kirene insects devoured their companions, their strength had a qualitative leap. Chapter 1691. Killing one another. Ningyu wouldn't be so worried if only one fire Kirene had reached the peak Sky Supreme realm. After all, the cultivator in embroidered robes was strong enough to deal with it. The current situation was that the 4 late-stage Sky Supreme Fire Kirene had devoured the remaining Fire Kirene and reached the peak Sky Supreme realm at the same time. 4 peak Sky Supreme Fire Kirene had the ability to fight the cultivator in embroidered robes. Whoosh, whoosh. What happened next made Ningyu and the cultivator in embroidered robes pale once more. The 4 pinnacle Heavenly Sovereign Realm Fire Kirene insects didn't immediately attack the cultivator, but started to kill each other. The 4 fire Kirene fought each other in pairs. Swish. Ningyu and the cultivator in embroidered robes couldn't believe what they were seeing. 1 second passed. 1 second was all it took for the 4 fire Kirene to decide the victor. 2 fire Kirene had been devoured, and their cultivation had risen to another level. Not good. Stop them. Ningyu's eyes narrowed. He immediately yelled at the cultivator in embroidered robes, "Once they fuse, their cultivation will most likely reach the half-sage realm." It was no wonder that Ningyu was so anxious. A half-sage fire Qilin already had the ability to kill the cultivator in embroidered robes. The human demon was thinking of a way to subdue the fire Qilin king. If the cultivator in embroidered robes died, he wouldn't be able to bear the consequences. "There's no need for you to say that." The cultivator in embroidered robes turned to glare at Ningyu. His figure flickered as he charged at one of the fire Qilin. The cultivator's plan was simple. As long as he could kill one of the fire Qilin, the other one wouldn't be able to devour its companion. While the cultivator was worried, he was also a little excited. There had originally been dozens of fire Qilin, but after they devoured one another, only 2 remained. Although the remaining fire Qilin insects were all at the pinnacle heavenly sovereign realm, the cultivator was confident that he could instantly kill a fire Qilin insect with his trump card. "Kill!" The warrior in embroidered robes shouted loudly. Immediately, a berserk yuan qi surged on his fist and fiercely punched at one of the fire Kirin insects. "Kai Kai!" The cultivator in embroidered robes used his trump card, wanting to kill one of the fire Kirin insects. However, the cultivator in embroidered clothes did not expect that the other fire Qilin bug would tear through the void and charge at Ningyu. Not good. The actions of the other fire Qilin bug caused the embroidered robed cultivator's expression to change drastically. His entire body even trembled involuntarily. Human Demon had instructed him to protect Ningyu. Now that a pinnacle heavenly supreme fire Qilin was charging at Ningyu, how could he not be afraid? No matter how heaven-defying Ningyu was, he was only an 8th grade Earth Sovereign. An 8th grade Earth Supreme against a pinnacle heavenly supreme realm fire Qilin insect. In the cultivator's view, Ningyu would definitely die without a doubt. "I have to save him." Although he was certain that Ningyu would die, the cultivator still had to go and save him. He had to put on a show that he was going to save Ningyu with all his might. Of course, this show wasn't for Ningyu to see, but for the human demon to see. Ningyu took a deep breath and hurriedly took out the black dragon sword. The yuan qi in his sea of consciousness surged as Ningyu, along with his soul power and the demonic lotus flame, poured into the black dragon sword. Originally, Ningyu didn't want to use the demonic lotus flame. After all, it was his trump card, his greatest trump card. However, this was a moment of life and death, so Ningyu couldn't care less. If he could block the fire Qilin bug's attack, he could survive. If he couldn't, he would most likely die in battle. Crack! The fire Qilin bug was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, it arrived in front of Ningyu. Due to the obstruction of the yuan qi protective barrier, the fire Qilin bug's speed was somewhat affected. It didn't attack Ningyu immediately. It was this gap that gave Ningyu a chance. After pouring soul power, yuan qi, and the demonic lotus flame into the black dragon sword, Ningyu hurriedly brandished the black dragon sword. "Cutting the heavens." Along with the 2 words "cutting the heavens," a horrifying sword qi swept out from the black dragon sword. Crack! After the black dragon sword qi swept out, the fire Qilin bug just happened to break through the yuan qi protective barrier. Hence, the sword qi and the fire Qilin bug collided. Rumble! The sword qi and the fire Qilin bug collided. Although it didn't block the fire Qilin bug's attack, it completely reduced the fire Qilin bug's speed, allowing the cultivator to catch up to the fire Qilin bug. Die! The cultivator clenched his right hand into a fist and punched the fire Qilin bug's head, sending the fire Qilin bug flying back several feet. The cultivator's punch was extremely heavy. Even if it didn't kill the fire Qilin bug, it would still cause it to suffer heavy injuries. Poochie! Although the cultivator repelled one of the fire Qilin bugs, the other fire Qilin bug had quietly arrived behind him. The other fire Qilin bug suddenly attacked, using the horn on its head to stab the cultivator's back. Hiss! The intense pain that came from his back made the cultivator involuntarily suck in a breath of cold air. If it was just being stabbed in the back by the fire Qilin bug's horn, the cultivator would not be in so much pain. The key was that a drop of highly toxic liquid followed the fire Qilin bug's horn and drilled into the cultivator's body. The fire Qilin bug had many attacking methods. The toxic liquid on the horn was one of their attacking methods. I'm pissed off. The cultivator did not think that he would fall for the fire-chilling bug's trick. He gritted his teeth and used all the strength in his body to charge at the fire-chilling bug. The toxic liquid contained a very horrifying toxin. In just an instant, the cultivator felt his strength rapidly diminish. The embroidered-clothed martial artist wanted to kill this fire-careen insect before his strength ran out. Boom! The poisoned cultivator in embroidered clothes used all his trump cards to fight with the fire-chilling bug. On the other side, Ningyu had an excited expression on his face. When the black dragon sword chi came into contact with the fire-chilling bug, his demonic lotus flame had quietly entered the fire-chilling bug's body. With the fire-chilling bug's strength, it should have been able to force out the demonic lotus flame. However, the cultivator's sudden attack did not give the fire-chilling bug the chance to force out the demonic lotus flame. This situation had obviously given Ningyu an opportunity. Refine. Ningyu controlled the demonic lotus flame and began to refine the dying fire-chilling bug. Although the fire-chilling bug was injured, the energy in its body did not decrease. Ningyu was very excited. As long as he could use the demonic lotus flame to refine the fire-chilling bug and absorb the energy in the demonic lotus flame, his cultivation would rise to the 9th grade Earth Supreme Realm. It was even possible that his cultivation would rise to the 9th grade Earth Supreme Realm. In the 8th grade Earth Supreme Realm, Ningyu could fight against a mid-sky Supreme Realm martial artist if he used all his trump cards. Chapter 1692. Another breakthrough. Inside the Chilean cave, the human demon was trying to subdue the fire-Chilean insect king, while the cultivator was fighting another pinnacle heavenly supreme fire-Chilean insect. As for Ningyu, he was controlling the demonic lotus flame to refine the injured fire-Chilean insect. What the hell? Although the cultivator was fighting the other pinnacle heavenly supreme fire-Chilean insect, his gaze would occasionally shift to Ningyu. After all, the human demon had instructed him to ensure Ningyu's safety. However, when the cultivator in embroidered clothes saw Ningyu's actions, he immediately became angry. He was fighting the fire-Chilean insect with all his might to ensure Ningyu's safety. Ningyu, on the other hand, was standing beside the other fire-Chilean insect. The cultivator knew that his previous move could only heavily injure the fire-Chilean insect, not kill it. Ningyu was only an 8th grade Earth Supreme. Even if the fire-Chilean insect was injured, it could still pose a fatal threat to him. You're really making me worry. The cultivator's face was unsightly. He immediately yelled at Ningyu, hurry up and get back here. Be careful of that fire-Chilean, whoosh. However, before he could finish the words fire-Chilean insect, he stopped abruptly. He saw a cold light shoot out of the fire-Chilean insect's body and enter Ningyu's body. The sudden change made the warrior in embroidered robes a little dumbfounded. One must know that the fire-Chilean insect was a pinnacle heavenly supreme. Even if it was heavily injured, it wasn't something that an 8th grade Earth Supreme like Ningyu could contend against. However, the current situation had completely exceeded the cultivator's expectations. The cultivator could basically confirm that the cold light that shot out of the fire-Chilean insect was the work of Ningyu. After all, the fire-Chilean insect was on its last breath. It could probably live for a minute at most. A minute later, the fire-Chilean insect would definitely die. Could it be that Ningyu is pretending to be weak? The cultivator in embroidered robes looked at Ningyu and thought of a possibility. Ningyu might be an 8th grade Earth Sovereign on the surface, but his true cultivation couldn't be at the half-saint realm, right? The more he thought about it, the more he felt that it was possible. What happened next made the embroidered-clothed warrior even more certain of his guess. Ningyu's aura was actually soaring at a speed visible to the naked eye. In just a few seconds, Ningyu's aura had risen to the pinnacle 8th grade Earth Sovereign realm. Moreover, Ningyu's aura was still increasing. According to this speed, it would take at most a few minutes for Ningyu to reach the 9th grade Earth Sovereign realm. Rumble. As the embroidered-clothed martial artist fought with the fire-Chilean bug, he paid attention to the changes in Ningyu. In the eyes of the cultivators, as long as Ningyu could advance to 9th grade Earth Sovereign, then Ningyu would definitely be pretending to be weak. Time passed. In the blink of an eye, a few minutes had passed. In these few minutes, the human demon did not subdue the fire Chileen bug, and the cultivator did not defeat the pinnacle Sky Supreme fire Chileen bug. As for Ningyu, he used these few minutes to crazily devour the energy. Bang! 5 minutes later, a muffled sound rang out from Ningyu's sea of consciousness. 9th grade Earth Sovereign Realm. At this moment, Ningyu had advanced to the 9th grade Earth Sovereign Realm. I can continue to advance. Ningyu did not stop cultivating just because he had advanced to the 9th grade Earth Sovereign Realm. Instead, he continued to devour the energy. The energy contained in the pinnacle Sky Supreme fire Chileen bug was extremely terrifying. Ningyu was currently an initial 9th grade Earth Sovereign Realm Earth Sovereign. If he could devour all the energy, it was very likely that he would advance to the pinnacle 9th grade Earth Sovereign Realm. How could Ningyu miss such a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity? Ningyu circulated the spirit form art to the extreme and crazily devoured the energy in his body. Sizzle. With the help of the spirit form art, the speed at which Ningyu devoured the energy was extremely fast. It was so fast that it was terrifying. Boom. It didn't take long for Ningyu to completely devour and refine all the energy in his body. After devouring and refining so much energy, Ningyu's cultivation had also smoothly advanced from the initial 9th grade Earth Sovereign Realm to the pinnacle 9th grade Earth Sovereign Realm. My God, my God. The fact that Ningyu had advanced from the 8th grade Earth Sovereign Realm to the pinnacle 9th grade Earth Sovereign Realm in such a short period of time left the cultivator dumbfounded, and he cursed. Although he was prepared in his heart, he was still shocked to see that Ningyu's cultivation had risen in such a short period of time. Whoosh. However, the cultivator in embroidered robes paid the price for his shock. When he was in shock, it was also when his vigilance was at its lowest. The fire Chileen bug seized the opportunity and stabbed him in the back with its horn. Not long ago, the embroidered clothed martial artist had been pierced by the horn of the fire Kirene insect. Now that he was pierced by the horn of the fire Kirene insect again, he immediately felt dizzy and his strength rapidly decreased. It's over. At this moment, the cultivator was dizzy and powerless. Even his consciousness was a little blurry. Damn it, just a little bit more, just a little bit more. The cultivator couldn't help cursing in his heart, feeling extremely vexed. After a period of intense battle, he had heavily injured the fire Chileen bug. At this moment, the fire Chileen bug's fighting strength had fallen from the pinnacle Sky Supreme realm to the mid-Sky Supreme realm. As long as the cultivator wasn't injured, the fire Chileen bug could kill a mid-Sky Supreme realm fire Chileen bug in one move. Master set me up. The cultivator knew that his situation was terrible. On his deathbed, he hated his master, the heartless old man. If it wasn't for the heartless old man telling him to capture the human demon, he wouldn't have tried to stall the human demon for 3 days. If it wasn't for that, he wouldn't have entered the Chileen cave and fought with the fire Chileen bug. As long as he didn't fight the fire Chileen bug, he would be fine. In short, the cultivator pushed all the blame onto his master, the heartless old man. It only has the strength of a mid-Sky Supreme. Ningyu didn't know what the brocade-clothed cultivator was thinking. His attention was completely focused on the fire Chileen bug. From the fire Chileen bug, Ningyu only sensed the aura of a mid-Sky Supreme. He didn't sense the aura of a peak Sky Supreme. In this situation, there was only one possibility. The fire Chileen bug could only display the strength of a mid-Sky Supreme. Thinking of this, Ningyu immediately decided to fight with the fire Chileen bug. The reason why Ningyu chose to fight with the fire Chileen bug was because he had his own considerations. First, if he could kill the fire Chileen bug, he could use the demonic lotus flame to devour the fire Chileen bug's energy for his own cultivation. Second, he wanted to test his strength. After all, he had just advanced from a rank 8 Earth Supreme to a rank 9 Earth Supreme. Attack. Ningyu wasn't an indecisive person. He attacked without hesitation. Before the fire Chileen bug could reach the cultivator, he had already taken the lead and charged at the fire Chileen bug. Kill it. Chapter 1693. Surprise. Sizzle. The sword ray was so fast that it made a sizzling sound as it rubbed against the air. In the blink of an eye, The sword ray arrived between the fire Kirin bug and the cultivator. Whoosh! Without a doubt. Under the powerful attack, the fire Kirin bug chose to retreat. The retreat of the fire unicorn bug gave the embroidered clothed martial artist a chance to escape. There was only one chance, and the cultivator grasped it. He used the last of his strength to retreat to the other side. Rumble. Due to losing the target of the embroidered clothed martial artist, the fire unicorn bug vented all its anger on Ningyu. Although it could only display the strength of a mid-stage Sky Supreme, its fighting strength was still terrifying. Ningyu slashed out hundreds of black dragon sword rays, each of which was perfectly dodged by the fire Kirin bug. Damn it, even a mid-stage Sky Supreme fire Kirin bug is so hard to deal with. Ningyu's face turned ugly when he saw the fire Kirin bug dodge his black dragon sword ray. The fire Kirin bug was different from human cultivators. With the same cultivation level, the fire Chileen bug could fight 3 or even 4 people at the same time. In other words, a mid-stage Sky Supreme fire Kirin bug could fight 3 or 4 human cultivators at the same time without being at a disadvantage. I need to find another way to deal with the fire Kirin bug. Ningyu estimated. Even if he could win in a head-on fight, it would be a Pyrrhic victory. Through the brief exchange, Ningyu had a rough idea of his true fighting strength. He was a peak 9th stage Earth Supreme, so his overall fighting strength should be at the late stage Sky Supreme level. Ningyu's original intention was to determine his own fighting strength, not to use a Pyrrhic victory to defeat the fire Kirin bug. Although defeating the fire Kirin bug would give him a chance to devour its energy, Ningyu was still injured. After all, there was a Chileen skeleton in the deepest part of the Chileen cave. Before seeing the Chileen skeleton, he had to conserve his strength. Who knew, he might have a chance to snatch it. Demonic Lotus Flame. After much consideration, Ningyu decided to use the Demonic Lotus Flame. If the Demonic Lotus Flame could devour the previous fire unicorn bug, then it could also devour the current fire unicorn bug. The prerequisite was that he could secretly send the Demonic Lotus Flame into the fire Kylin beetle's body. The situation just now was because the fire Kylin bug wasn't paying attention. Coupled with the fact that it was heavily injured, it naturally gave Ningyu an opportunity to take advantage of. The situation now was a little different. The fire Chileen bug wasn't heavily injured, but its cultivation had dropped to mid-stage Sky Supreme. Black Dragon Sword, cut for me. Ningyu thought about it and decided to use the Black Dragon Sword to attract the fire unicorn bug's attention. Then, he would think of a way to inject the Demonic Lotus Flame into the fire unicorn bug's body so that he could easily control the fire unicorn bug. Voila! In order to attract the fire unicorn bug's attention, Ningyu slashed out hundreds of Black Dragon Sword chis. Every single strand of sword chi was powerful enough to kill a Sky Supreme. This is too terrifying, isn't it? When the cultivator in embroidered robes saw Ningyu's actions and felt the power of the Black Dragon Sword chis, he was dumbfounded and even stuttered when he spoke. A pinnacle 9th grade Earth Sovereign could easily kill a Heavenly Supreme with a single slash. What would happen if Ningyu became a Sky Supreme? Wouldn't he be on par with a half-sage? Pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger. I wonder which half-sage you are. The cultivator in embroidered robes concluded that Ningyu was pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger. But the cultivator in embroidered robes was a little confused. He couldn't guess Ningyu's true identity. When the cultivator in embroidered robes had come from another plane, he had investigated the peerless experts of the immortal spirit realm. Although half-sages were rare, it didn't mean that they didn't exist. In the entire immortal spirit realm, there were still many half-sages. There were even no less than 5 sages. Let's see if you can trap this fire Kylin bug. The cultivator in embroidered robes stared fixedly at the battlefield. Go. What a coincidence. Not long after the cultivator in embroidered robes turned his attention to the battlefield, a dramatic scene unfolded. Ningyu suddenly threw the Black Dragon Sword. The cultivator in embroidered robes had thought that the fire Kylin bug wouldn't be afraid of Ningyu throwing the Black Dragon Sword and would attack Ningyu instead. But the reality was that the fire Kylin bug retreated as if it had seen its own father when it saw the Black Dragon Sword. If not for the fact that the battlefield was between the demonic human and the Fire Kylan Bug King, the Fire Kylan Bug would have rushed over to ask for help. Isn't this a little too ridiculous? The cultivator in embroidered robes rubbed his eyes, trying to discern whether the Fire Kylan Bug was pretending or just scared. The result shocked the cultivator in embroidered robes. The Fire Kylan Bug was scared. The excessive fright caused the Fire Kylan Bug to scatter left and right like a headless fly. In the end, the Fire Kylan Bug had nowhere to run. It could only brace itself and charge towards the Fire Kylan Bug King to ask for help. If it went to the Fire Kylan Bug King for help, it might be able to survive. If it didn't go, only death awaited it. For the sake of survival, the Fire Kylan Bug charged towards the Fire Kylan Bug King and the dangerous battlefield. Crack, crack. This spirit of the Fire Unicorn Bug made Ningyu admire it very much. At the same time, Ningyu wanted to laugh. This was because the Fire Kylan Bug had just charged into another battlefield. Before it could reach the Fire Kylan Bug King, the demonic human slapped its horns. The demonic human was very gentle towards the Fire Kylan Bug King because he wanted to subdue it. But he didn't treat the other Fire Kylan Bugs as well. The two horns on the Fire Kylan Bug King's head were broken by the demonic human's slap. Hiss! The two horns on its head were broken, causing the Fire Unicorn Bug to tremble in pain. Scram! The demonic human only broke the Fire Kylan Bug King's horns. He didn't use his full strength to kill it. The demonic human knew very well that the Fire Kylan Bug King was forced into this state by Ningyu. Even if he wanted to kill it, it should be Ningyu. Whoosh! With a low roar, the demonic human raised his right leg and kicked the Fire Kylan Bug King far away, right in front of Ningyu. Fire Kylan Bug King, my patience has its limits. Kicking the Fire Kylan Bug King away, the demonic human stared at it and said, I'll give you one last chance. If you don't submit to me, I'll have to kill you. You want me to submit to you? In your next life. The Fire Kylan Bug King said coldly, not afraid of the demonic human at all. You didn't say anything. I thought you were mute. The demonic human shrugged and said, since you want to submit to me in your next life, I'll have to kill you first and then save you. With that, the demonic human's figure flashed and appeared next to the Fire Kylan Bug King in the blink of an eye. Before the Fire Unicorn Insect King could react, the human demon stretched out his right hand and slapped the Fire Unicorn Insect King's head. The intense pain on its head made the Fire Kylan Bug King's expression turn ugly. Retreat! In just an instant, the Fire Kylan Bug King made up its mind to retreat. Where there's life, there's hope. Chapter 1694. Chapter 1694. A Saint. Screech. In order to avoid the human demon's pursuit, the Fire Kyran Insect King burned its blood essence to raise its speed to the limit. Whoosh! In the blink of an eye, the Fire Kyran Insect King disappeared from Ningyu's line of sight. Ningyu was slightly surprised that the human demon didn't chase after the Fire Kyran Insect King. After all, the human demon had been fighting with the Fire Kyran Insect King for a long time, trying to control it. Now that the Fire Kyran Insect King had escaped, it was indeed strange that the human demon didn't chase after it. Looking in the direction the Fire Kyran Insect King disappeared in, the human demon murmured, the immortal spirit realm is indeed special. No wonder it could attract the attention of the major forces in the upper planes. The immortal spirit realm is special. Although the human demon's voice was soft, Ningyu still heard it. Hearing was one thing, but Ningyu didn't dare to ask why. After all, the human demon was a true saint, while he was only a 9th grade Earth Supreme. Sigh. The demonic cultivator turned around to look at Ningyu and sighed. Then, he moved towards the embroidered clothed cultivator. In a few steps, the human demon soon arrived in front of the cultivator. After staring at the cultivator for a few seconds, the human demon's face turned ugly. As a saint, the human demon could naturally see the situation of the cultivator. His Yuan spirit had been injured before, and now he was poisoned by the Fire Kyran Insect King. It would be hard for the cultivator to recover to his peak state in a short time. After a moment of silence, the human demon decided to leave the cultivator behind. As for him and Ningyu, they would continue deeper into the Qilin cave. The fire Kirin insect king here meant that there must be a large number of Qilin skeletons in the depths of the cave. The human demon definitely wouldn't give up such a good opportunity. Seal. Although the human demon had decided to go deeper into the Qilin cave, he was still worried about the cultivator. Therefore, he grabbed the fire unicorn bug that he had just severely injured and used the fire unicorn bug's energy to arrange a small array formation around the embroidered clothed martial artist. The human demon wasn't stupid. The cultivator had brought him to the Qilin cave, and he, a half-saint, had been injured for no reason. If the warrior in embroidered robes was not stupid, then there was definitely something fishy going on. If it was in the past, the human demon would definitely think of a way to wake up the embroidered robed martial artist and then bring him deep into the Qilin cave. However, the current situation did not allow the human demon to do so. He had to enter the Qilin cave ahead of time to prevent the Qilin skeleton from being taken by someone else. Ningyu, do you dare to follow me into the depths of the Qilin cave? Human Devil thought about it and decided to ask Ningyu first. If Ningyu didn't want to go, he wouldn't force him. After all, he was well aware that the depths of the Qilin cave were extremely dangerous, so dangerous that even he wasn't completely confident. Why wouldn't I dare? Ningyu stepped forward and said in a deep voice. The greater the danger, the greater the opportunity. Ningyu could faintly feel that he would obtain great benefits from this trip to the Qilin cave. The Qilin cave was indeed dangerous, but with a human demon looking after it, there shouldn't be too much of a problem. At the very least, he could summon the Tower of You and hide in its shell. Let's go. Hearing Ningyu's reply, the human demon grabbed Ningyu's shoulder and turned into a blur as he charged into the depths of the Qilin cave. Swish. Within the incomparably dark Qilin cave, Ningyu and the human demon walked side by side. The Qilin cave was originally bright, but after the embroidered robed martial artist was heavily injured, the entire Qilin cave became incomparably dark. Lighting up the Qilin cave required a large amount of energy, and Ningyu and the human demon's perception wasn't too weak, so they didn't expend any energy to light up the Qilin cave. Stop. After advancing for roughly 10 minutes, the human demon suddenly pulled Ningyu to a stop. What's going on? Hiss. Ningyu was slightly taken aback by the human demon's sudden pull. However, before Ningyu could finish his sentence, he sucked in a breath of cold air. This was because not far from him was a middle-aged man in grey robes. The reason why Ningyu was shocked was because he discovered that the middle-aged man's cultivation was also at the sage realm. Before entering the Moling mountain range, Ningyu hadn't even seen a sage before. But now, 2 sages had suddenly appeared, the middle-aged man and the human demon. Moreover, he also saw 2 half-sages, the embroidered robed martial artist and the fire Qilin insect king. Gulp. Not only was Ningyu shocked, but he even swallowed a mouthful of saliva. If it was just the middle-aged man, Ningyu wouldn't be this shocked. More importantly, there was a fire Qilin insect king on the middle-aged man's shoulder. This fire Qilin insect king was the one that had just fought with the human demon. Although the human demon was a sage, the middle-aged man could stop him. As for the fire Qilin insect king on the middle-aged man's shoulder, only Ningyu could deal with it. How could Ningyu not be shocked? Boom. Inside the pitch-black Qilin cave, the middle-aged man waved his hand and the entire Qilin cave lit up. Trespassing into the Qilin cave, the middle-aged man ignored Ningyu and stared at the human demon. Die, he said coldly. As the word die resounded, the middle-aged man turned into a blur and charged at the human demon. The middle-aged man was a true sage. His first move was a killing move. Get back. Looking at the middle-aged man approaching him, the human demon's face turned solemn. He first pulled Ningyu behind him before charging forward. The human demon sensed a unique aura from the middle-aged man. This aura didn't seem to belong to someone at the celestial spirit realm. Rumble. The battle instantly erupted. Just the shockwaves from the battle between 2 sages was enough to kill a Sky Supreme. Fortunately, the human demon and the middle-aged man had their own concerns and didn't let the shockwaves spread. Otherwise, Ningyu and the Fire Chilean Insect King would be heavily injured. The human demon was worried about Ningyu's safety, while the middle-aged man was worried about the Fire Chilean Insect King's safety. Therefore, even though the battle erupted, the human demon and the middle-aged man held back and didn't use their full strength. Boom! The battle between the human demon and the middle-aged man only lasted for 3 minutes before a muffled sound came from the surrounding stone walls. Not good, the Chilean ring is about to break out. The middle-aged man's face changed drastically when he heard the muffled sound. Without any time to think, the middle-aged man forced the human demon back and grabbed the Fire Chilean Insect King. Using the sharp horn on its head, he smashed the surrounding stone walls. Whoosh! After all, the Fire Chilean Insect King's body was at the half-sage level. In just one exchange, the surrounding walls were blasted and collapsed. Whoosh! The moment the stone wall collapsed, the middle-aged man immediately darted into the stone wall. Chilean ring. The sudden change made the human demon and Ningyu's faces change drastically. In his previous life, Ningyu had heard of the Chilean ring. It was rumored that as long as one was recognized by the Chilean ring, there was a high chance that they would be recognized by the Chilean and obtain a Chilean mount. The Chilean was an ancient divine beast that was comparable to a dragon. Chapter 1695. Let's go. Let's go. If Ningyu knew about the Chilean ring, then so would the human demon from a higher plane. The human demon would definitely want something as important as the Chilean ring. This time, the human demon didn't have the time to bring Ningyu along. He only left a few words before hurriedly entering the broken stone wall. Screw it. Ningyu's expression was solemn as he struggled with his thoughts. A second later, gritting his teeth, Ningyu followed closely behind the human demon and entered the stone wall. Boom! Just as Ningyu entered the stone wall, his pupils constricted and his head felt like it was going to explode. Chilean aura. Boundless Chilean aura came crashing down on Ningyu. This terrifying aura made Ningyu lose his composure. Ningyu knew very well that if he couldn't block this Chilean aura, he would definitely die here. Gritting his teeth, Ningyu released his essence chi from his body, trying his best to resist the incoming Chilean pressure. Whoosh! With the protection of Yuan chi, the tightness in Ningyu's chest lessened. Ningyu looked left and right. Ningyu was dumbfounded by what he saw. If it was just the Chilean aura, Ningyu wouldn't have such an expression. The most ridiculous thing was that he found himself in a long and narrow tunnel. The first few hundred meters of the tunnel were shrouded by the Chilean aura, while the rest of the tunnel was filled with formations of various sizes. Within a few hundred meters of the Chilean aura, the middle-aged man, the Fire Chilean Insect King, and the human demon were walking side by side. However, their speed was obviously very slow. The Chilean aura in front was something even a sage would find hard to pass. The formations at the back were probably not weak. Under such circumstances, Ningyu would definitely be dumbfounded. What should I do? Ningyu's eyes turned as he quickly thought of a countermeasure. Given the current situation, Ningyu only had two choices: retreat or advance. If he retreated, he would have no fate with the Chilean ring. If they continued forward, they might not be able to withstand the Chilean's pressure and die on the road. Where there's life, there's hope. After some thought, Ningyu decided to retreat. Ningyu would definitely not do something that was clearly suicide. If he did it, then what was the difference between him and an idiot? Ningyu was not an idiot. He would not make unnecessary sacrifices. Dong. However, what happened next made Ningyu dumbfounded on the spot. He could no longer remain calm. His path of retreat was blocked by a huge rock. The stone perfectly fit the gap in the stone wall, perfectly blocking the gap. Open. In order to leave, Ningyu used all his strength to resist the Chilean aura and tried to push the stone away. Unfortunately, no matter how hard Ningyu tried, he could not push the stone away. In fact, the stone did not move at all. Drip, drip. Furthermore, as time passed, Ningyu realized that the Chilean aura behind him was getting more and more terrifying. Even with his essence chi, beads of sweat dripped from his forehead continuously. The consecutive events forced Ningyu to continue forward. I don't believe it. Ningyu tried his best to lift his right leg and move forward step by step. Although Ningyu's speed was very slow, he was indeed moving forward. There was no turning back. Ningyu knew that if he wanted to live, he had to be faster than the Chilean aura behind him. If he was a little slower, he might die under the Chilean aura. For the first dozen meters, Ningyu was still smooth. He did not show a particularly painful expression. But as he continued deeper, Ningyu's clothes were drenched in sweat. His legs felt like they were being pressed by thousands of kilograms of rocks. Every step was abnormally difficult. Although it was difficult, Ningyu had to grit his teeth and persevere. Under the threat of death, Ningyu erupted with astonishing strength. Even if his clothes were drenched in sweat, even if his bones gave off cracking sounds, he still continued forward. Advancing under this kind of immense pressure was not only detrimental to Ningyu, but it was also very beneficial. In other words, if Ningyu could successfully pass through this Chilean road, his willpower and physique would have a huge improvement. Ningyu knew this, so he gritted his teeth and persevered. Ha ha ha. Behind him, Ningyu continued to persevere. Up ahead, the middle-aged man turned back to glance at Ningyu, then laughed at the human demon. That useless human you brought actually dares to recklessly follow us. Swish. Hearing the middle-aged man's words, the human demon's expression changed, and he hurriedly turned back. Oh no. The moment the human demon saw Ningyu struggling forward, he could no longer remain calm. Although he could not take Ningyu as a disciple, the human demon was still very grateful to Ningyu. He did not want Ningyu to die. After all, Ningyu had given him true dragon blood, allowing him to survive the energy seal's explosion. To be precise, if not for Ningyu, he would have long since died. Damn it! The human demon cursed inwardly, then turned around and walked step by step towards Ningyu. It was obvious that the human demon wanted to get close to Ningyu and use his sage aura to protect Ningyu. You better think it through. The Chilean road is very difficult. Even if you can save him, you will be heavily injured. Seeing the human demon's actions, the middle-aged man kindly reminded, I will leave the fire Chilean bug king at the end of the Chilean road. If you and that piece of trash are lucky enough to pass the Chilean road, I will give you a big gift. Fart. On the surface, the middle-aged man was warning the human demon, but in reality, he was provoking him. Hearing the middle-aged man's words, the human demon immediately coughed up a mouthful of blood. The human demon had already suffered a lot from the Chilean's aura when he turned around, and now with the middle-aged man's actions, he was directly injured. Let me give you one last piece of advice, don't. No. The middle-aged man shrugged. He wanted to give the human demon one last warning, but to his horror, he found that Ningyu's speed had increased. Swish. In the beginning, Ningyu had been moving forward with difficulty, but now he was jogging. Not only was he jogging, but Ningyu was also running and increasing his speed at the same time. The middle-aged man had never seen or heard of someone running so fast on the Chilean road. Fart. The middle-aged man had wanted to trick the human demon, but who knew that Ningyu's sudden acceleration would cause the human demon to trick him instead. Because all his attention was on Ningyu, the middle-aged man was careless and was injured by the Chilean's aura. He coughed up a mouthful of blood on the spot, and his face turned pale. This is impossible. Wiping the blood from the corner of his mouth, the middle-aged man's eyes widened as he exclaimed, how can there be such a freak in the immortal spirit region? Even in a higher realm, there is no one who can run at this speed on the Chilean road. Chapter 1696. True Dragon Pressure. True Dragon Blood. The middle-aged man did not know how Ningyu did it, but Ningyu was very clear about it. At the start, Ningyu had indeed felt the immense pressure from the Chilean pressure and was on the verge of collapsing. Suddenly, the true dragon's blood on his body emitted a frightening oppressive might. True dragons were existences on the same level as Killins. The true dragon pressure was not any weaker than the Chilean pressure. With the protection of the true dragon pressure, Ningyu naturally felt no pressure. Without the pressure, Ningyu instantly increased his speed. In practically the blink of an eye, he passed through half of the Chilean road. The reason why Ningyu raised his speed to the limit was not because he wanted to pass the Qilin Road before the middle-aged man, but because he discovered that his only drop of true dragon blood was actually evaporating rapidly. The true dragon blood could emit the true dragon pressure, but every minute and every second required a large amount of energy. Ningyu was only left with one drop of true dragon blood. He naturally did not want to waste it for no reason. Hence, Ningyu used all the strength he had. Whoosh! Another few seconds passed. Ningyu had already reached the human demon's side. Furthermore, Ningyu also helped the human demon along the way. He dispersed some of the true dragon pressure on his body to help the human demon resist the Qilin pressure. This, sensing the true dragon pressure emanating from Ningyu, the human demon's mouth gaped open in shock. However, this kind of shock quickly disappeared. The human demon was very clear that Ningyu had just experienced 2 drops of true dragon blood tempering his body. It was completely reasonable for there to be some true dragon blood left in his body. Thinking of this, the human demon collected his thoughts and began to recuperate with all his might. Even if they passed through the Qilin Road, there was still a long array path to pass through. The human demon did not dare to slack off. The current situation was already very clear. Between them and the middle-aged man, whoever passed through the Qilin Road and the array path first would have the highest chance of obtaining the Qilin ring. Possessing the Qilin ring meant having the chance to subdue a Qilin. The human demon naturally did not want to miss this opportunity. Swish! Whoosh! Under the protection of the true dragon's pressure, Ningyu and the human demon's speed was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, they arrived beside the middle-aged man and the fire Kirin insect king. Go! The original Devil Lord wanted to attack the middle-aged man, but then he remembered that this was the Qilin Road. If he attacked the middle-aged man rashly, it was highly likely that he would make a mistake. In order to ensure that he could pass through the array formation first, the human demon decided not to attack the middle-aged man for the time being. Instead, he decided to pass through the array formation first. Although they couldn't attack the middle-aged man, human demon and Ningyu still looked at him with disdain. Damn it! Seeing Ningyu and the human demon's disdainful gazes, the middle-aged man cursed in anger. However, the middle-aged man was well aware of the current situation, so he forcibly suppressed his urge to attack. The human demon had misgivings, and the middle-aged man naturally had misgivings as well. In the Qilin Road, whoever attacked first would be the first to suffer a calamity. Therefore, the middle-aged man allowed Ningyu and human demon to mock him. He did not respond and only cursed under his breath. Go! Taking a deep breath, the middle-aged man glared fiercely at the fire Qilin Bug King. Then, he quickly moved forward, wanting to pass through the Qilin Road as soon as possible. What happened next could be imagined even with one's toes. When the human demon and Ningyu passed through the Qilin Road, the middle-aged man and the fire Qilin Bug King were still a third of the way. Stay close to me. I'll bring you through the array formation. The human demon protected Ningyu by his side. Using his powerful perception, he began to force his way through the array formation. I'm going to break through. At first, the human demon led Ningyu through the array formation. There was no array formation that could stop them. But as they continued forward, Ningyu finally cursed. Ningyu thought that the human demon understood the Tao of array formations. Who would have thought that the human demon didn't know anything? The reason why the human demon could pass through the first half of the array formation was because of his terrifying perception. Sage-like perception could help them pass through the first half of the array formation, but not the second half. Senior human demon. Ningyu swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Looking at the array formation in front of him, then back at the human demon, he asked in confusion, "You don't understand the Tao of array formations?" "What Tao of array formations?" "As long as we're strong enough, no array formation can trap us." The human demon waved his hand, exuding a strong sense of confidence. Then, the human demon unleashed his sage aura, wanting to use brute force to break through the array formation in front of him. Ha ha ha. Just as the human demon unleashed his sage aura, the middle-aged man's wild laughter came from behind. Before long, the middle-aged man and the fire Qilin Bug King arrived in front of the human demon and Ningyu. The corner of the middle-aged man's mouth curled up as he swept a disdainful glance over Ningyu and the human demon. Don't think that the array formation is easy to pass. To tell you the truth, in the array formation, even a dragon has to coil up and a tiger has to lie down. If we can't pass through the array formation, then neither can you. Ningyu harumphed coldly. If you can't pass through the array formation, then I'd like to see how you'll get the Qilin ring. Can I assume that you're threatening me? The middle-aged man raised an eyebrow and looked at Ningyu with interest. Those who threaten me never end well. If you must think that way, then there's nothing I can do about it. Ningyu shrugged, unafraid of the middle-aged man's threat. The fact that the middle-aged man did not attack immediately meant that he was afraid of the human demon. With the human demon here, Ningyu would not be afraid of the middle-aged man. Very well, very well. Hearing Ningyu speak to him like this, the middle-aged man's face turned extremely cold. In fact, he even had the urge to attack at this moment. However, after looking at the human demon and the array formation behind him, the middle-aged man forcibly dispelled the impulse. We can't pass through the array formation, and neither can the two of you. How about we make a deal? Taking a deep breath, the middle-aged man's gaze fell on the human demon. I'll be in charge of breaking the array formation, and you'll be in charge of protecting us with your sage aura. Deal. The human demon did not think too much and immediately agreed to the middle-aged man's proposal. The middle-aged man did not expect the human demon to agree so readily. He originally thought that the human demon would have to think about it. Who would have thought that the human demon would agree on the spot? The middle-aged man did not stay in a daze for long. He quickly reacted and moved his feet to the array formation. Waving his hands, the middle-aged man began to break the first troublesome array formation. Boom! The human demon did not understand array formations, and his attainments in array formations were not as good as Ningyu's. However, the middle-aged man knew array formations, and his attainments in array formations far exceeded Ningyu's. In fact, he was even more terrifying than Grandmaster Zhao. Only 10 seconds passed. The first troublesome array formation was broken by the middle-aged man. Whoosh! As soon as the array formation was broken, the space around it suddenly split open. Several cold lights shot out from the void, attacking Ningyu's group. Chapter 1697. Snatch. Damn it, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and stop those rays, or we'll all die. The middle-aged man cursed when he saw the human demon's indifference. The middle-aged man had expended a lot of his energy to break the first formation. In his current state, even if he could block the attack of the rays, he wouldn't be able to break the later formations. This was also the reason why the middle-aged man was working with the human demon. Now that the human demon had no intention of helping, how could the middle-aged man not be angry? Don't panic, I just want to see how powerful these rays are. The human demon waved his hand, signaling the middle-aged man not to panic. Actually, even if the middle-aged man didn't say anything, the human demon would have stopped the rays. After all, the human demon's attainments in formations were terrible. He needed the middle-aged man's help to pass through the formation. The human demon didn't stop the rays immediately because he wanted them to exhaust the Fire Kirin King's strength. At the very least, he wanted the Fire Kirin King's strength to fall to Ningyu's level. Otherwise, even if he could pass through the formation, the human demon wouldn't be able to fight the middle-aged man for the Qilin ring. But reality proved that the human demon's idea was correct. Since he didn't stop the rays immediately and the Fire Kirin King was the closest to the rays, the Fire Kirin King was struck and vomited a mouthful of blood. What are you waiting for? The middle-aged man roared when he saw the Fire Kirin King was heavily injured. The human demon glanced at the middle-aged man and moved, displaying his powerful sage aura to resist the rays. Fut 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 fut. Under the pressure of the human demon's powerful aura, the rays that shot out from the void were instantly disintegrated. What is the meaning of this? After the rays disappeared, the middle-aged man first checked the Fire Kirin King's injuries before glaring at the human demon. I've been trying my best to break the formation, but you've been playing tricks behind my back. The middle-aged man was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. If it wasn't for the Qilin ring, the middle-aged man would have made his move long ago. Do you think I'm a fool? The human demon rolled his eyes and said, the Fire Qilin King is a half-saint. Do you think we can rest assured if its cultivation doesn't decline to the same level as Ningyu? Use your pig brain to think about it. Once we leave the path of the array formation, you will definitely let the Fire Qilin Insect King snatch the Qilin ring. What will I do then? Was he going to let a 9th grade Earth Sovereign like Ningyu compete with a half-saint Fire Qilin Insect King? Wake up. Kaka. After listening to the human demon's reasonable analysis, the middle-aged man clenched his fists, making cracking sounds. You don't have to waste your energy. I will suppress the Fire Qilin Insect King's cultivation to the 9th grade Earth Supreme Realm. As soon as the man in the middle finished speaking, he immediately dashed out and grabbed the horn on the head of the Fire Unicorn Insect King. Catcher, catcher, catcher. The middle-aged man continued to exert force, directly breaking the Fire Unicorn Insect King's 3 horns. Buzz. After the horn on its head was broken, the Fire Unicorn Insect King's aura began to plummet. In just a short period of time, the aura of the Fire Qilin Insect King had fallen from the quasi-saint realm to the pinnacle 9th grade Earth Sovereign realm. Are you satisfied now? The middle-aged man placed the 3 horns of the Fire Qilin Insect King into his bosom and coldly said to the human demon, I hope you won't play any tricks later. Otherwise, even if I can't pass through the array formation and obtain the Qilin ring, I will still fight you to the death. Rest assured, I know what's important. The human demon lightly smiled. I hope that you can keep your promise. The middle-aged man coldly glanced at the human demon, then turned around and started to break the second array. Rumble. The middle-aged man's attainments in formations were indeed terrifying to the extreme. Although it took longer than the first array, he still managed to break the second array within 3 minutes. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. As soon as the second formation was broken, the void suddenly split open, and several cold lights flew out at an extremely fast speed. This time, the human demon did not wait. In that instant when the cold lights flew out, he had already unleashed the aura of a saint. Under the suppression of the aura of a saint, the cold lights swiftly disappeared. At least you're tactful. Seeing that the human demon was so efficient, the middle-aged man's face turned gloomy. After resting for a few minutes, the middle-aged man started to break the array once again. Very quickly, the third formation was broken. In the next period of time, the middle-aged man focused on breaking the array, while the human demon did his best to resist the cold lights. Everything was going according to the original plan. The narrow array path couldn't obstruct the human demon and the middle-aged man's party. Half an hour later, when the last array was broken, Ningyu's party had successfully passed through the array path. Qilin ring. As soon as he passed through the formation, the middle-aged man's eyes flashed with a cold light and a look of surprise appeared on his face. Before them was a massive Qilin skeleton. On the back of the Qilin skeleton, there was a golden ring that wasn't too big. Without a doubt, this golden ring was the Qilin ring. This is the Qilin ring. Feeling the terrifying pressure from the Qilin ring, Ningyu couldn't help narrowing his eyes, his expression extremely grave. For some reason, Ningyu felt a trace of a connection between him and the Qilin ring. Although this connection was very weak, Ningyu still sensed it. Something's not right. Suddenly, Ningyu's already grave expression turned even graver. This was because Ningyu realized that the connection between him and the Qilin ring wasn't established on his body, but on the Tower of Yuzuan. It was established on the little girl in the Tower of Yuzuan. In other words, the Qilin ring was communicating with him through the little girl in the Tower of Yuzuan. Could the little girl in the Tower of Yuzuan be related to the Qilin clan? Ningyu's mouth fell open in disbelief. In truth, this wasn't impossible. After all, the black-clothed cultivator had seriously explained before leaving with the crystal coffin. He said that the golden-haired girl in the Tower of Yuzuan had a very special identity. If anything happened to her, the consequences weren't something that Ningyu could bear. Now that the Qilin ring had established a connection with Ningyu through the golden-haired girl, it made Ningyu even more certain that the golden-haired girl was related to the Qilin clan, and it was a very significant relationship. However, there was one point that left Ningyu puzzled. Since the golden-haired girl was related to the other group, why hadn't the golden-haired girl woken up until now? Fire Chilean Insect King, hurry up and snatch the Chilean ring for me. Just as Ningyu was pondering, the middle-aged man suddenly shouted. The middle-aged man was very smart. He knew that if he took the initiative, the human demon would definitely stop him. Rather than fight with the human demon here, he might as well let the Fire Chilean Insect King make the first move while he was responsible for stopping the human demon. As long as the human demon didn't make a move, he was confident that he could seize the Chilean ring through the Fire Chilean Insect King. Chapter 1698. Bloodline Connection Rustle. Hearing the middle-aged man's instructions, the Fire Chilean Insect King did not dare to delay and charged towards the Chilean ring. Sizzle. Sizzle. The Fire Chilean Insect King was swift to the point that it emitted sizzling noises from the friction with the air. Although the Fire Chilean Insect King's horn was broken by the middle-aged man not long ago, causing its cultivation to drop to the 9th grade Earth Sovereign realm. However, the Fire Chilean Insect King's speed was still terrifying. In practically the blink of an eye, the Fire Chilean Insect King had already arrived before the Chilean ring and was only half a step away from it. At this distance, the Fire Unicorn Bug King would be able to get its hands on the Chilean ring even if it had a second more. Whoosh! But suddenly, a silhouette flew out and appeared on the back of the Chilean skeleton before the Fire Chilean Insect King. Upon seeing the thin figure that had suddenly appeared on the Chilean skeleton, not only was the Fire Chilean Insect King stunned, but even the middle-aged man was shocked speechless. The middle-aged man was clear about the Fire Chilean Insect King's speed. Furthermore, the Fire Chilean Insect King was a step ahead of Ningyu. How could the middle-aged man not be shocked when he set off first and arrived later? Ha ha ha. Some rejoiced, while others were worried. The human demon raised his head and laughed. What a joke. I've really shot myself in the foot. Congratulations. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and make your move. Being ridiculed by the human demon, the middle-aged man's face turned extremely dark as he spoke to the Fire Chilean Insect King. If the Chilean ring is taken by Ningyu, you can die. Boom. Actually, the Fire Chilean Insect King felt embarrassed even without the middle-aged man's words. No matter what, it was still the Fire Chilean Insect King with a quasi-saint realm cultivation at its peak. How could it endure being surpassed by a 9th grade Earth Sovereign so easily? I'll grind your bones into ashes. The Fire Chilean Insect King's body swelled up before it turned into a cold streak of light and charged towards Ningyu. At this moment, the Fire Chilean Insect King had changed its target. At first, the Fire Kylan Bug King wanted to snatch the Chilean ring, but now, its target was Ningyu. The Fire Unicorn Bug King made up its mind that it would definitely get its face back. Ningyu glanced at the Fire Kylan Insect King before he reached out with his right hand and grabbed the Chilean ring. You're at death's door but you're still thinking about the Chilean ring. How foolish. Looking at Ningyu's actions, the Fire Unicorn Bug King's lips curled into a smirk. It then sped up once more, and its entire body charged at Ningyu. Black Dragon Sword. Ningyu's mind moved, and he immediately drew out the Black Dragon Sword. Against a powerful demonic beast like the Fire Kylan Insect King, he had to use the Black Dragon Sword. The Fire Chilean Insect King's cultivation was only at the 9th grade Earth Sovereign realm, so in terms of strength, Ningyu could completely suppress it. The only thing that Ningyu was worried about was the Fire Kylan Insect King's physical strength. After all, the body of a half-saint realm demonic beast was extremely tough. As long as he could use the Black Dragon Sword to break through the Fire Kylan Insect King's defenses, Ningyu could instantly kill it. The Fire Kylan Insect King's physical strength is comparable to a saint, so how can any flying sword? Seeing Ningyu drawing out a flying sword and slashing towards the Fire Kylan Insect King, the middle-aged man coldly snorted. However, the middle-aged man's cold snort came to an abrupt halt halfway through. Poof! Far away, the Black Dragon Sword and the Fire Kylan Insect King clashed. A clear and crisp sound rang out. Everyone in this region, including the human demon, was dumbfounded. That clear and crisp sound was clearly the sound of a flying sword piercing into a body. Without a doubt. The black dragon sword broke through the fire Kylin insect king's defenses and stabbed into its body. Die. Since the black dragon sword had broken through the fire Kylin insect king's defenses, Ningyu no longer held back and immediately poured his energy into the black dragon sword, slashing out once again. Crack. Ningyu's second attack was so swift that it made one's hair stand on end. He raised his hand, and the sword fell. The fire Kylin insect king's body was forcefully cut into two by the black dragon sword. If the weeds were not cut by the roots, they would grow again with the spring breeze. Ningyu understood this logic. Therefore, in that instant, Ningyu injected a trace of demonic lotus flame into the black dragon sword. When the black dragon sword pierced through the fire Kylin insect king's body, the demonic lotus flame quietly entered the fire Kylin insect king's body and completely destroyed its primordial spirit. After destroying the fire Kylin insect king's primordial spirit, Ningyu was still not satisfied. He used the remaining trace of demonic lotus flame in the fire Kylin insect king's body to control the fire Kylin insect king to self-destruct. Rumble. The fire Kylin insect king's self-destruction produced a huge shockwave that quickly spread in all directions. Whoosh. Whoosh. In that instant, the human demon and the middle-aged man attacked at the same time. The middle-aged man wanted to use the gap between the fire Kylin insect king's self-destruction to control Ningyu and snatch the Qilin ring. The human demon, on the other hand, blocked the middle-aged man from attacking Ningyu with all his might. Very good, just you wait. For some unknown reason. After the human demon attacked, the middle-aged man suddenly left behind a ruthless sentence. Then, he quickly dashed away, piercing through another wall and went in. Let me see the Qilin ring. The human demon didn't care where the middle-aged man went. His attention was completely focused on Ningyu. Extending his right hand, the human demon said in a low voice, "The Qilin ring is very special. It doesn't make sense for you to take it away so easily. Here." Although Ningyu was extremely unwilling, he had no other choice. He could only take out the Qilin ring and throw it to the human demon. Whoosh. The Qilin ring drew an arc in the air and steadily landed in the human demon's hand. Kai. However, what happened next made both the human demon and Ningyu dumbfounded. The moment the human demon's right hand touched the Qilin ring, a layer of skin was corroded and fell off. Ding! The human demon hurriedly threw the Qilin ring on the ground. A piercing pain came from his right hand, causing the human demon's face to contort. What the hell is going on? The human demon couldn't believe what was happening in front of him. He was a sage. The Qilin ring might be precious, but it didn't make sense that even a sage couldn't pick it up, right? Besides, if a 9th grade Earth Supreme like Ningyu could pick up the Qilin ring, why couldn't a sage like him? How can you pick up the Qilin ring? The human demon thought for a moment and decided to ask Ningyu. I feel a connection between the Qilin ring and me. Ningyu didn't dare to be negligent and answered honestly, and when I held the Qilin ring, I felt a blood connection. Blood connection? The human demon's heart skipped a beat. He quickly used his perception to probe Ningyu's body. It didn't take long. The human demon retracted his perception, his brows furrowing even more. You only have the war god physique. Why do you feel a blood connection with the Qilin ring? The human demon murmured, is it related to the true dragon blood? But then again, the human demon didn't think it was possible. A blood connection with the Qilin ring meant that Ningyu definitely had the Qilin's bloodline. Chapter 1699. Chapter 1699. Chapter 1699 Kirin fruit. Forget it. Since you have fate with the Qilin ring, I won't force you. The human demon stared at the Qilin ring on the ground and let out a long sigh. He turned to Ningyu and said, take good care of the Qilin ring. When we enter the higher planes, it will give you great benefits. Thank you, senior. Although there were no fluctuations in his heart, Ningyu still revealed an excited expression and hurriedly picked up the Qilin ring from the ground. Ningyu could clearly feel it. When he picked up the Qilin ring, human demon's mouth twitched involuntarily. The human demon would definitely want the Qilin ring. But in this situation, even if the human demon wanted it, there was no other way. Senior, what should we do now? Ningyu asked as he put away the Qilin ring. I'll collect this Qilin skeleton before me first. Then, I'll go find the middle-aged man. The human demon took a step forward and landed on top of the Qilin skeleton. With a wave of his hands, a small vortex appeared around the human devil. The vortex grew larger and larger until it sucked the entire Qilin skeleton into it. Very good. After receiving the Qilin skeleton, the human demon nodded in satisfaction. Although it was only the skeleton of a Qilin, the skeleton contained a terrifying amount of energy. Human demon had to deal with the next energy seal explosion, so he needed to store up enough energy as soon as possible. Otherwise, the next time the energy seal broke, the human devil would die without a doubt. Let's go and find more Qilin skeletons. The human demon's eyes lit up like torches as he dashed towards the stone wall where the middle-aged man had disappeared. Kai. This time, the human demon didn't get what he wanted. That was because the human demon sensed a terrifying suction force coming from Ningyu's body. This suction force was so terrifying that even the demonic humans felt their hearts palpitate. What the hell is this? It didn't take long for the human devil's expression to change. If it was just a terrifying suction force, the human demon naturally wouldn't have such a huge reaction. Most importantly, the target of the suction force was not him, but the Qilin skeleton that he had put away. Shio. In the blink of an eye, the Qilin ring flew out from Ningyu's body and floated above the human demon's head. The suction force was getting more and more terrifying. In the end, even the human demon couldn't bear it and gave up control of the Qilin skeleton. As soon as the human demon relinquished control of the Qilin skeleton, the Qilin ring sucked the Qilin skeleton in. Whoosh! After absorbing the Qilin skeleton, the Qilin ring returned to Ningyu's body. Gulp! Ningyu couldn't help but swallow a mouthful of saliva as the series of events happened one after another. He was dumbfounded. The Qilin skeleton had already been taken away by the human devil. But the Qilin skeleton was so powerful that it had forcefully snatched it back. Ningyu carefully looked at the human devil, afraid that he would get angry. Seems like everything is fated. The human demon stared blankly for a few seconds before slowly shaking his head. I should have known that a living Qilin would appear wherever a Qilin ring appears. A living Qilin definitely wouldn't just stand by and watch as their clan skeleton is taken away. Forget it, let's go. The human demon's expression was a little disappointed, and he didn't even have the mood to go deeper into the cave. Even if he could find more Qilin skeletons, it wouldn't help. As long as the Qilin ring existed, there was no way he could get the Qilin skeleton. Senior, I don't think I can leave. Ningyu took out the Qilin ring and said, it seems to want to go to the deepest part of the cave. Chem. The human demon raised an eyebrow and stared at the Qilin ring. Since the Qilin ring wants to go, we can't not go. Let the Qilin ring lead the way, we'll follow behind. All right. Ningyu grabbed the Qilin ring and threw it out. Whoosh. The Qilin ring turned into a blur and sped off in the direction that the middle-aged man disappeared. Let's go. Ningyu and the human demon looked at each other. Then, they dashed forward and followed closely behind the Qilin ring. At first, Ningyu thought that the Qilin cave was only this deep, but the more he followed behind the Qilin ring, the more apprehensive he became. The Qilin cave was obviously a bottomless pit. He and the human demon followed the Qilin ring for a full 10 minutes, but they still hadn't reached the deepest part. Ningyu even suspected that the Qilin ring would lead them out of the Moling mountain range. Reality proved it. Even after 10 minutes of running, Ningyu and the others were still inside the Qilin cave. The middle-aged man. After 10 minutes, Ningyu and the human demon saw the middle-aged man. The man was staring at a fiery red tree in front of him, his eyes shining with a golden light. A Qilin tree. It was obvious that this fiery red tree was a Qilin tree. There were 4 fiery red fruits on the Qilin tree. Qilin fruit. Seeing the 4 fiery red fruits on the Qilin tree, Ningyu and the human demon's eyes shone with a golden light. The Qilin fruit on the Qilin tree was clearly immature. Even if it was an unripe Qilin fruit, it could allow a pinnacle Sky Supreme to rise by 1 or 2 ranks. In other words, the Chileen fruit on the Chileen tree could help a peak sky supreme ascend to half-sage, or even directly ascend to the sage realm. Although the Chileen fruit couldn't help a sage unconditionally ascend a level, it was still very tempting to a sage. Just think about it, if a sage who was in the process of ascending obtained a Chileen fruit, their chances of ascending would greatly increase. For a sage to ascend was harder than ascending to the heavens. So when the middle-aged man and the human demon saw the Chileen fruit, their eyes burned with desire. The Chileen fruit is mine. The middle-aged man suddenly turned around and glared at the human demon. I came here first and found the Chileen fruit first, so the 4 Chileen fruits on this tree are all mine, idiot. Ningyu glanced at the middle-aged man, then at the Chileen ring hovering in midair, and rolled his eyes. Since the Chileen ring had stopped, it meant that there was something it feared in the surroundings. Moreover, Ningyu had already received a message from the Chileen ring. Fury, irritation, anger. The message from the Chileen ring was full of dissatisfaction and anger. Although the Chileen ring didn't clearly state why, Ningyu guessed that someone must have used the Chileen corpses to cultivate the Chileen tree. One had to know that the Chileen tree's growth conditions were abnormally harsh. Chileen blood and Chileen meat were all fertilizer for the Chileen tree. Ningyu made a preliminary judgment. If all 4 Chileen fruits on the Chileen tree ripened, then there was a 100% chance that a sage could unconditionally ascend a level, and to make 4 Chileen fruits mature, at least a dozen Chileen corpses were needed. In other words, in order to cultivate the Chileen tree in front of him, there had to be at least a dozen Chileen corpses in the Chileen cave. Chapter 1700. Mysterious Martial Artist's Humph. What kind of bullshit logic is this? I want to see just how you'll be able to steal away the 4 Chileen fruits outside. The human demon didn't know what Ningyu was thinking, he only cared about the ownership of the 4 Chileen fruits. The immature Chileen fruit was extremely attractive to human demons. There was an energy seal in the human devil's body. Once the seal broke, it would require a large amount of energy to replenish itself. Each Chileen fruit contained a terrifying amount of energy. According to the human demon's calculations, if he could obtain 4 Chileen fruits, then even if the energy seal within his body were to explode, he would still have nothing to fear. Thus, the human demon made up his mind to snatch the Chileen fruit from the middle-aged man. As soon as he finished speaking, the human devil stomped the ground and rushed toward the Chileen tree. The human demon's way of thinking was very simple. He who struck first would gain the upper hand, and those who struck later would suffer a calamity. In this area, he and the middle-aged man were the strongest. As long as he could catch up to the middle-aged man, he would be able to obtain 4 Chileen fruit. Old fart, how dare you trick me? Seeing the human devil suddenly attack, the middle-aged man's expression greatly changed. He cursed inwardly and immediately rushed out. The reason why the middle-aged man didn't immediately try to snatch the Chileen fruit was because he had his own considerations. Firstly, as a sage, the middle-aged man's perception was very strong. He knew very well that the Chileen fruit had not fully ripened yet. Moreover, with every passing second, the Chileen fruit would ripen a little more. The middle-aged man wanted to wait for the Chileen fruit to ripen a bit more before picking it. But now, before he could even make a move, the human devil had already made a move. This was intolerable. The middle-aged man would never be able to tolerate such a situation. In order to snatch the Chileen fruit before the human demon, the middle-aged man didn't hesitate to burn his blood essence to increase his speed. Almost in an instant, the middle-aged man and the human demon were neck and neck. Buzz! Not long after the human demon and the middle-aged man rushed out, Ningyu suddenly discovered that the Chileen ring above his head was slightly trembling. When the Chileen ring shook, it constantly transmitted that kind of angry emotion to Ningyu. Something bad is about to happen. Ningyu's expression changed drastically. The message from the Chileen ring was very irritable and angry. But now, he was even more irritable and furious. Although it was irritable and furious, the Chileen ring still did not make a move. It was obvious that the Chileen ring was afraid of something. The Chileen ring could even corrode the palm of a human demon, so the thing it was afraid of must be exceptionally terrifying. Senior, Please stop. Thinking of this, Ningyu hurriedly shouted at the human demon. Whoosh! Ningyu's roar caused the human demon to pause for a moment. Be careful. Once I snatch the Kirin fruit, I will definitely give you one. The human demon looked back at Ningyu. Then, he turned around and rushed towards the Kirin fruit at full speed. Ha ha ha, you're too slow. The moment the human demon turned around gave the middle-aged man a chance. After letting out a maniacal laugh, the middle-aged man burned another drop of blood essence, increasing his speed by another third. Originally, the middle-aged man was running neck and neck with the human devil. Now that he had ignited his essence blood to increase his speed, he had left the human devil in the dust. Damn it! Seeing that he had been left behind, the human demon was so angry that he almost cursed out loud. The Chilean fruit was something that the human demon was determined to obtain. If he missed this opportunity, then there wouldn't be another one. Thus, at this moment, the human demon was extremely dissatisfied with Ningyu. If not for the fact that Ningyu had helped him before, he would have crippled Ningyu. Catcher. At this moment, a crisp sound resounded through the area. This sudden cracking sound dispelled all of the dissatisfaction the human demon had towards Ningyu. Gulp. Staring at the middle-aged man kneeling beneath the Chilean tree, the human demon gulped down a mouthful of saliva. His face turned deathly white. At this moment, the human demon was a little grateful to Ningyu. If not for Ningyu calling out to him, the martial artist kneeling beneath the Chilean tree might not have been the middle-aged man, but him. Because of the energy seal within his body, his strength wasn't much different from the early Sage Realm middle-aged man's. If even the middle-aged man was defeated, then the human demon's fate wouldn't have been any better if he had reached the Chilean tree first. Who is it? Who is it that's hiding and doesn't dare to show your face? The middle-aged man pushed against the ground with his right hand and stood up with difficulty. Sweeping his gaze across the area, the middle-aged man's cold voice rang out. Come out if you have the guts. Let's fight 300 rounds. Catcher. As soon as the middle-aged man finished speaking, another cracking sound rang out in the area. Thump. Thump. Then, the sound of knees hitting the ground rang out. Ningyu and the human demon stared blankly at the middle-aged man's miserable state, their expressions turning grave. Without even showing his face, he had shattered the middle-aged man's knees. This kind of strength was truly terrifying. The Chilean fruit isn't something you can touch. I advise you to leave this place as soon as possible, or don't blame me for being impolite. The cold words filled the entire area. Ningyu and the human demon held their breaths, not daring to even breathe loudly. Under the Chilean tree, the middle-aged man's body trembled uncontrollably, a look of terror on his face. Ever since the middle-aged man had descended to the immortal spirit realm from a higher realm, he had never met such a powerful cultivator. Despite his terror, the middle-aged man didn't dare to linger here for too long. Dragging his heavy legs, he crawled out of the Chilean cave step by step. Although he could use his Yuan Qi to fly, the middle-aged man didn't dare to do so. He was afraid of offending the hidden expert. Pretending to be a coward now was better than being killed. Shaw. The middle-aged man kept slapping the ground with both hands. It wasn't a long journey, but he had to crawl for a few minutes before he made it through. Whoosh! The middle-aged man didn't even look back as he sprinted out of the Chilean cave. Why aren't you leaving? Do you want to die? After the middle-aged man disappeared, the cold and indifferent voice rang out again. We'll leave now. The human demon took one last look at the Chilean fruit, then grabbed Ningyu's shoulder and retreated. As he retreated, Ningyu conveniently put on the Chilean ring. Before long, Ningyu and the human demon retreated to the place where they had obtained the Chilean ring. What bad luck! The human demon put down Ningyu and said angrily, we were so close to obtaining the Chilean fruit, but who would have thought that there would be a martial artist who surpassed the sage level? Surpassed the sage level? Ningyu frowned slightly and asked, Senior human demon, if I remember correctly, there is a plane barrier in the immortal spirit realm. Martial artists who surpassed the sage level shouldn't be able to stay in the immortal spirit realm, right? There is indeed a plane barrier in the immortal spirit realm, but it only prevents sages from descending. If it's a native sage, or a native existence who surpassed the sage level. Oh, right. The human demon waved his hand impatiently. Just as he was about to explain to Ningyu, his eyes widened, and his face filled with pleasant surprise. Due to the existence of the plane barrier in the immortal spirit realm, all martial artists who surpassed the sage level, including native sages, couldn't display their full strength. In other words, even if the mysterious martial artist controlling the Chileen tree was an existence who surpassed the sage level, he could only display the strength of a sage great perfection. If he only displayed the strength of a sage great perfection, I might be able to put up a fight. The human demon took a deep breath and said in a low voice. At his peak, the human demon was also an existence who surpassed the sage level. As the saying went, a starving camel was still bigger than a horse. Although the human demon could only display the strength of a primary sage level now, if he burned his life force and used his trump card, he could still display the strength of a sage great perfection. However, burning his life force would accelerate the explosion of the energy seal, which the human demon normally wouldn't use. Now that there was a chance to obtain the 4 Chileen fruits, the human demon decided to go all out. As the saying went, one must sacrifice the child to catch the wolf. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories,